Well, last time on Starfinder, the we joined a group inside the Temple of the Starfaring Elves, a weird cult of like prophets and seers and drug users who isolated themselves up top of a mountain to gaze at the stars and gain amazing insights into the universe. And so we did some huffle and scuffle to get into the center of it, which was basically their archive, kinda. It was guarded by golems that we bluffed our way past, and we got the Dr. Solstani in there to look around and take notes and do a lot of stuff. It was pretty cool. The main thing last session was the big reveal, the reveal of the story, or what the fuck is going on. Because it seems like in ancient times, this cult of stargazers settled here to gaze at the stars and take drugs and just have a good time. But then they started noticing weird stuff in the heavens, specifically a formation of 12 stars that seemed to like speak to them. Like it like sent them dreams, and they had weird visions of really dire portents. And as they cast their minds deeper into the universe to try to find what this was, several strange theories started to emerge. It seemed to many of them that the 12 stars was actually some sort of seal of titanic proportions, like the constellations themselves put in place to hold something back or seal something in. And as to what force would have like the power to actually move the stars themselves to form a seal, who knows, but that was the presumed purpose. What it held back was unsure, except that it was absolute death and doom incarnate. Whatever was on the other side of that gate would kill us all, they started to believe. It could be an immense alien invasion force from another galaxy. It could be a doomsday device. It could be something even worse. And they didn't know. But they, like the constellation of stars still called out to them. And so they construct stargates to travel the planes and get there to find out what it was. And so they all disappeared through the stargates and never returned. Um, all of these terrifying insights hit the party pretty hard, and what is even worse is that this other like extremist religious cult that we have been following all this time seemed to have taken a lot of interest in these in this like big seal, this big star seal. Um, they are the cult of the like devourer or something like that, a horrific religious extremist sect that wants to ostensibly destroy all life. They want to yeah, complete annihilation of the universe is what they want. And so they have been investigating the temple and this dread gate of 12 stars to presumably find a way to locate it and maybe unlock it. And at this point, well, the alarm rate rose up even further, because it seems like we're not just hunting kidnappers and petty criminals anymore. We are facing like an extinction level threat, presumably. And so we packed our things and dashed back in no small amount of panic to Absalom Station to confer with the Starfinders and be like, hey, this is really bad. Please help. What should we do? And our contact in Starfinder, Shishkis, was like, sort of shrugged and said, well, this is not the first time the Starfinders have found Earth-ending death, doom, and stuff. So probably no one will listen to us because we have sort of overblown the stuff like this in the past, and so they will just assume that we're crying wolf. So no one will listen. So if anyone has to do anything, it's going to be the Starfinders, and more specifically you, because all other Starfinders are incompetent or dead or nerds and can't do field work. So
Yeah, let me
slap on the butt, good luck. And we were like, oh.
let me take over from there. While you're not entirely wrong with Jiska's reaction, he certainly puts a lot of faith in you.
Oh yeah, he believes us.
Perhaps he most definitely believes you. It's very obvious. Puts a lot of faith and trust in you. Perhaps to the point of like it would be nice if he didn't trust you as much and actually went to get more help from other places, considering the threat. Which is something he did in fact try. He briefly talked to 2 of the 4 leaders of the Starfinder main branches, to Fitch, the leader of the Wayfinders, and Historia 7, the leader of the data files, but was met with rather unsatisfying responses, as he told you. They, of course, didn't think he was straight up lying, but either severely disagreed with how to deal with it, or simply said, oh, it's just a rumor. We've dealt with world-ending rumors before. However, Chiscus did intend to persist, and in a later message to you, reported that he has organized a meeting with all 4 leaders of the Starfinders in the next day or 2. Of course, a meeting that he would like you very much to attend. Perhaps you can convince them a bit better than he can.
Maybe. But yeah, the group was in a state of panic, to say the least. This was certainly more than we bargained for, and it ended up with Tasselis actually saying, fuck this. I joined up to find stars and be sexy to the ladies, and promote my brand. I did not join to go into the diaspora to hunt down crazy cults. This is a suicide mission. I am out. And he took his stuff and bade the party a fond farewell and good luck, and sort of walked into the night. And so he's gone. Grimith has officially left the campaign. Yeah.
That is indeed what happened last session and between the 2 sessions.
Yes. So.
And now, while my original plan was to just sort of fast track your days on Epsilon Station, because surely nothing interesting can happen on the Epsilon Station, I've changed my mind severely. In a few days, as I said, Chiscus has invited you to a meeting with all the important people in the Starfinder Society. And until then, you have a couple days. You're sort of limited by the speed of the upgrade procedure of the Sunrise Maiden. While of course all spaceships these days are very modular and you can switch out things fairly quickly, it still takes some time, especially if you ask for like severe rebuilds of the interior structure. So it'll be a few days, but the upgrades certainly are needed. The Sunrise Maiden is 80 years old at this point, at least, and has seen better days. A thorough revisiting of its systems is probably not the worst idea. And while the threat of the cult of the Devourer getting their hands on whatever may lie between what the elves called the Gate of the 12 is looming, the information you found on Castrovel did very little other than to actually confirm its existence. The elves did a very good job, or rather did not leave any clues as to where it might be. Just that they think, in fact, it exists. And in fact, if you looked closely in Castrovel's night sky, you might have even been able to think that you can spot it, just sort of sitting there in the many stars of the sky. But just physically seeing something isn't really enough to actually get there. Sure, you could fly there with sublight travel, just, point your ship towards it and fly for a couple hundred years, like the Kasafas did with their generation ship. But the more likely way is to actually use drift travel, which physical clues don't really help that much. The Gate of the 12 is something that took the elves apparently hundreds of years to locate. So surely Tahoman, the leader of the cult skirmish force that you found on Castrovel, had mostly empty boasts about the inevitable coming of the end, right? Surely. For now, the Sunrise Maiden is under construction, meaning you'll probably have to find a place to stay. by default, I'm going to assume you might fall back to the moons of sleep, as it were, the Starfinder associated hotel near the Eye.
I mean, at this point, right? The Starfinder Society pays for our stay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is exactly where they would pay you to stay.
By the way,
Pay for you.
we have still all the trash we found in the jungle and such. If you guys want that money,
Yeah, we want the money.
all right. Since Grimith doesn't have to get his share,
That's right.
there is. I'll just put it in the chat because it's not a very precise number. I'll just remove the like point something,
Yeah, that's fine.
which we get when we
donate that to
take
charity.
the tiny. That's per person.
All right. I shall add this to my.
Then I'll remove everything we have in the puzzle because that's
Not bad.
been around for a long time now. Before I've actually been able to. I also don't know anything you might have looted last session. That's not in there.
Oh, Jake has that, doesn't he?
So,
Yep, I believe so.
Fucking Jake got
so you know,
I don't
we'll
think we got much though.
but whatever that is basically like what we have.
All right.
All right.
I have roughly 2,100 credits.
I have 2,600. I would like something like double.
I have 2.
Wow. Oh, also, to step into Grimith's shoes, we have Valky.
Yes, hello.
We'll get to that.
You know him from such things as Out of the Abyss.
His character's not here yet, though.
No, but
No.
Valky is.
I'm just a
Valky
voiceless,
is. Hello,
voiceless
Valky.
man.
Hi,
Hello.
Valky. Welcome to the
Hey,
campaign.
hey guys. Thank you.
You know, if you don't have a character, you don't exist in the game.
Well, that's true. I
Bad in
feel
game, bad in real life. It's
In this universe.
I'm just trying to
third
sort
level
of
cleric. You know,
imply encouragement towards in-character conversations.
This guy,
You know.
Well,
Sorry, I just wanted to. Victor has probably done this like before we even arrived here, like in the ship, like just calculated things. Or actually, he doesn't. He goes to his pawnbroker person, who then hands him money.
yeah.
That's
He's
how
not
it works.
calculating.
I have all this
no,
trash, an extra like fire extinguisher.
I like
and
the
some microcord
I like
and-
the mental image of Victor sitting with an abacus at his room, being like, "Oh, let's see."
And there's like
With,
nowadays
like, tiny
there is
glasses
like
on.
an online version like of Google Translate, but for math.
Yeah.
And he just like, I have this stuff. You know, what's it worth?
Exactly.
And it's like, it is worth this much.
Yep.
You're like, "Oh, seems
Standard
okay."
pricing accounting for, you know, adventuring damage potential. Everything is 10%.
So.
What a deal.
So with that done, yeah. Sorry, you had something?
I think we definitely are going to stay at the free hotel.
Sure.
Because why the hell not? Thaddeus is, as always, going to enjoy the bar.
Same orders as usual.
Oh, of course. Tasselis, you gonna join me?
Telos can tentatively join you
Uh-huh.
on the condition that there won't be any naked drunkenness this time.
All right, no naked drunkenness. Drunkenness.
Victor's already taken off his shirt. He's like, "Oh, it's
I
time to get."
I have a neck chief, like a neck cloth. I'm not naked.
Is it true?
Oh boy.
Thaddeus just wears his rifle, if you know what I mean.
Wheel tip someone.
Time to polish the
Wheels
barrel, I think.
Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Ho ho, ladies.
Kilo 7 is somewhat of an engineer.
Ooh.
He is good with pumps and
Take a look. And
and hard metal rods.
And large equipment.
Grrr.
I'm trying to paint it.
We're already drunk. Telos. Success.
Yeah, ending like the first day, you might already have been a bit tipsy from the meeting with Jack Burner in the bar,
Oh yeah,
where
right.
he
That
ordered
dude.
you
Oh,
a
yes,
round
of
or
course.
two.
The dude we saved on the planet that rained glass and acid, Malachi.
I removed the verbal promise as well.
Yeah,
I
okay.
figured that at this point it would have been worth less.
He was the dude who was like, hey, I know some guys in the shipyard. I'll tell them I sent you,
Yeah,
and they will.
he was gonna fly some cows around and then pay us after
Yep.
that.
And he
He
gave
didn't
us...
ask for any So I just need this cow. It's really good business. I just need
Yes, it's a small loan of 10,000 credits.
and then I can double that in 2 months.
Yeah, and also worth noting that his new ship was actually the Acreon.
Oh, Sheep.
Oh.
Can you update my initiative macro because I can't myself?
No.
You can click on your token, go to properties, and change your initiative.
Yeah, he's linked it to the initiative. Yeah, like the
There's an initiative thing on the languages.
Languages, eh?
Yeah, so sheep can double click and see if we can speak the language.
Yeah, languages would be a good thing to update as well.
Wait.
I don't need to update them.
I am confused.
I only speak rat people and normal person.
I'll update the languages. I speak...
Victor speaks more languages than you do.
I speak so many languages. Hang on. I even have 2 languages, I think, to pick still. It's it's fucking...
Okay. Thaddeus speaks Yusoki, Akatonian, and Common.
Okay, Akatonian?
Oh yeah, each homeworld has their own language.
Yeah, but if you're an Epsilon station, you don't get one.
Nope.
Bullshit. It's really the worst of all.
It's not a world, man.
Mechanically punished for not being from a planet. You know, what is this?
It's planetist, that's what it is.
It is, yeah. I'll just add one to Victor's attributes.
I am running out of space on my language bar, too. I can't...
How long is
it? To make it shorter.
Maybe just add, the ones you consider important. Maybe.
They're all important.
It doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter right now.
Stop panicking!
Stop panicking!
Back!
I'm my man. Jake, we're gonna share a room. It's gonna be great. He just doesn't show up.
No,
he doesn't show up, man. He just doesn't love you enough. That's what it is.
The Madar.
You thought he was a bro.
He went to some symposium. He's doing shit now.
Yeah. Victor shows up with a 6-pack of beer, but but Madar isn't home anymore.
The room and there's no one there.
Madar's like, no, we did this when we were in high school. We can't do this anymore. I have a family now. You can't come here.
You can't just show up at my home.
Yeah, you can't just show up anymore. You know.
We don't just.
Last time you fell asleep naked on the sofa, and my kid saw you. How I can't.
Can't do this. I've got a job.
You can join us in a few years.
At that point, the wife throws Victor out.
Yeah, he is like a 200-pound Vesk, so.
Well, she's an angry...
She's a 300-pound Vesk.
Yeah, she's an angry 300-pound Vesk.
Hey, if they're Vesks, the women are bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's a 300-pound Vesk. You doubt.
Victor can never score that.
That's the Madar, 4 arms. It's... To do many things.
So, Victor has a meeting he needs to go to with his manager's sister.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
both Victor and Madar would have gotten a message, which pretty much can be summarized as "Please see me as soon as you can." Signed, Diamond. Fairly terse. Not much small talk there.
Victor will go there. Hey. I would like to bring Madar, but it turns out that he isn't here, so... What can I do, right?
He's... who knows where.
Yeah.
Alright. Still during the evening of the first day, then. This point, after you've got everything organized and met with Jack Burnett, would probably be, close to midnight as you make your way into Epsilon stations down low. Which, for anyone who isn't a huge Vesk and actually knows his way around, might be a bad idea, but there's no issue for Victor.
I live here. I had an apartment. I probably, honestly, have cancelled it at this point just because, I'm not going to go back there now. It wasn't that great place.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trip on foot through the winding valley that is Epsilon Station Spike. It doesn't really have a main road. You have to like keep switching into hallways to catch the different stairs going down. But luckily, the down low is fairly high up in the spike, so it's not like hours. And as you round the corner into the dimly lit neon like passageway that is just around Diamond Defense and Supplies, or rather Diamond Defense and Surplus, that's the name.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that there's a fairly well-dressed human passing you, although looking at like him as he passes you, he looks thoroughly pale. And shortly after that, you can see the small shape of Diamond, Lana Nokoriso, the Yusogi, bouncing out of her shop, of course tailed by two of her massive vast bodyguards, as she sort of shouts past you, "Leonard, wait! You can't blame a lady for losing her temper once in a while. No harm done. I missed you after all. If anything, I'm the victim here. That hole in my shop is not going to fix itself. Well, you'll be back. You'll need me." She frowns after the figure for a little bit as it disappears out of view. And only then she sort of acknowledges Victor's presence and says, "You've certainly taken your time, but better late than never, I suppose. Come in."
There was a whole jungle thing we had to do. It's a long story. I got a lot of video. You'll probably see some of it around. So go on.
I can't say I'm too interested, to be honest. And I don't care how long you took on Castrovel or whatever. I care about how long you took to respond to my message. It was a few hours ago at this point. You should have walked a bit quicker. Usually I don't have that problem with the people who do things for the people who want me to do things for them, like yourself, because there's payment involved. And, I mean, customer was satisfied with what you did with your target. However, I am angry. If you haven't noticed, I am very angry. Not at you, though, so that's good. You'll still get paid. Come on. She sort of gestures you inside the shop.
Just lumbers after the little Yusoki. He's learned with his manager how to match his walking speed to the walking speed of an excited Yusoki. So that's what he's doing.
She sort of leads you past the front of the shop, which pretty much looks like a bunch of discarded machinery, big blocks that look like analog engines of some sort, just laying around. Past the entrance door, which looks more like what you would expect from pretty much a weapon supplier, with the occasional gun being showcased behind a thick layer of bulletproof, laser-proof glass. But she leads you through another door into what looks to be just a small office, really. Nothing fancy there. There's like a desk with a computer. Just enough room for really the Yusoki and Victor to sit on a stool that stands nearby. As she taps on her computer a bit and says, "Well, that's your 1,000 credits for a job well done. Store credit, of course. And I've got something else for you. A response from the customer you helped. But I really have to rethink my business model, you see. I hate to be misused like this. And of course you don't understand yet, but..." She rummages around in one of her drawers and pulls out an envelope, like proper paper, wax seal, everything. It's about as archaic as if, like, nowadays someone handed you like a stone slab. Nobody really does that anymore. She hands it to Victor. "That's the response. Of course, obviously I would snoop, and it's so easy to scan a piece of paper and see what's inside without breaking the seal. He would have known that, and I'm infuriated."
Victor nods, takes it, open it, and see what it says.
The letter says the following. And as Victor sort of reads, she just immediately continues without giving him really time. You see, my customers want things done, so I find someone to do them for you. For them, rather. That's how it's supposed to work. But in this case, the idea of sponsoring you and getting you to work for me, to represent me, as it were, not in the ring, because you're currently sort of taking your break or whatever, but by doing favors for the people who I want to have good thoughts about me. It's really complicated, if I put it that way. So the request of one of my customers to sponsor you specifically was a bit unusual, but I didn't think much of it. Seemed like a good idea. You're potentially rather profitable investment. But now I've been apparently degraded to a messenger, unknowingly, without my consent. And he doesn't even have the decency to hide it. No, obviously I would read the letter and catch what's going on here. I don't appreciate deceit if it involves myself. If he wants to talk to you, he should do it himself.
Nonsense. Who is he?
Oh, I can't tell you that, obviously. I might be angry at him, but there's still discretion involved. If I break that, I'm going to have all my customers run away.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sure. Having a fan who's interested in my success, that's rather flattering, to be honest.
Oh, a fan he is, all right. But, you know what?
It's not my dad, is it?
I hope not.
So leans back and says, that would be embarrassing if it was.
I don't think he is now. You don't look anything alike.
All right.
But you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with this guy anymore. I don't usually hold grudges, but in this case it warrants a response. And trust me, you don't want to have anything to do with him either. But you can profit from this, because this is an excellent opportunity to get me to like you more. It seems to me that it is quite inevitable that your mysterious benefactor, whoever he might be, will want to meet with you in person at some point, which is an excellent opportunity for you to tell him what I think. Because you will accept an invitation, and then you will shoot him after shouting some appropriately cheesy line, like, Diamond sends her regards or something. Be creative.
I'm not really a shooter sort of person. I think I have one of these, the little guns somewhere around here, but...
Oh, no, don't worry. I've got just the thing for you. And I don't actually want him dead. I just want him to reconsider his life choices. You see, Leonard over there, who passed you on the way out, he wanted to order something very specific, which I don't think he wants anymore after. She sort of points out the door, where there's still a sort of scorching hole in one of the display cases. I take this kind of deceit very seriously, and it lingers in my mind, so I got a bit angry when he tried to negotiate. So, in retrospect, it was a moment of questionable sanity. But it's exactly the right kind of thing, because you can shoot someone as much as you like, and he'll have a very bad time, but you won't accidentally kill him, which seems to me it's just exactly what we need here. I want you to meet your benefactor whenever possible, and then you shoot him. Come on, I'll show you what gun I want you to use.
Victor nods and follows the Yusuke.
She like rounds a corner and then another corner into a different room, where on a table lies a rather large and complicated-looking rifle, or more accurately, a heavy weapon. As she says, it's an Aurora-class Anesite cold iron cannon, non-rechargeable. Iron cannons are usually used to incapacitate robots. This one is a special something. Anyone with extensive cybernetics will have a very, very bad time, but no lasting consequences. I've been told, anyways. Shoot them until they're twitching on the ground, keep shooting, doesn't matter, they'll be fine. I think. Leonard also wanted it to turn to scrap after all charges were expended. Unsure why, but it suits me well. Don't want to give you free merchandise after all, do I? So, you take this beauty, treat it well, and then whenever you meet your benefactor, you shoot him in the face until he lies twitching on the ground. Am I clear?
Makes I'm not. Wouldn't he have some sort of guard with him?
Oh,
I don't know who it is, but
he's not the type of person to have guards.
I feel like if we go this far, you might as well tell me now.
I don't think so. No. I might hold grudges after all, but discretion is still very high on my list. He'll contact you, and you'll shoot him. Now, I would be even more pleased if you could arrange that shooting to be appropriately public, just so people get that I'm not to be messed with. You'll be fine, don't worry. You're just a middleman in this, so there's no danger coming your way.
That makes sense.
And if public doesn't work for you, at least record it.
He always has his camera drones.
Very good. I see we understand each other.
Yeah.
And if I'm pleased with how you do, perhaps I'll give you a nice sample of my merchandise.
Yeah, makes him likes the sound of that. Nice spear.
I certainly have things you wouldn't find elsewhere, so that should be enough of an incentive.
No, it's all, it's all for the publicity mostly.
Exactly. Now, be aware that while this weapon packs a punch, it has about 5 shots in it before it's effectively useless. So don't waste them.
All right. What is it called?
I will give you the stat block. It's not in the core book.
Aurora Anacide. Cold Iron Cannon. Let's see if the sheet has it.
It does not.
Okay. And I will just make it backwards.
Also worth noting that it is a line weapon. Lockdown is also a thing that doesn't show up in the core rulebook. It basically means you can't destroy robots with it. They just basically, it's non-lethal for robots.
All right. What about everyone else?
This weapon is only non-lethal against anything that has cybernetics.
So if you're just not a cybernetic, you just get
Then you just get frozen.
Okay. Yeah, it's cold damage.
Also, cybernetics is a bit of a case-by-case basis thing. There are cybernetic creatures, but just having like a cybernetic arm doesn't automatically make you a cybernetic creature. It has to be rather extensive.
Mm.
Or you have to be an android, in which case you can't as well.
Yep. All right, so we'll meet this guy, see what he has to say.
In the letter that you got, in the envelope, there was also a number attached, a comlink number, as mentioned in the text.
And the guy wants some recording I made for the Cabaret University, which is just pictures of the obelisk and stuff. And of course, lots of me being heroic. Yeah, I can forward that to him, to this number, and also to my manager, as it turns out. So you can make some cool videos,
He certainly has been trying to do exactly that. The recording of the Acreon adventures, he's basically turned into a mockumentary of you fighting monsters.
Yeah.
With like a cheesy line going, Can the monster fight even bigger monsters and save the world? Maybe the world needs monsters. Maybe he is not a monster.
Yeah.
Find out next time.
Miniseries. David Attenborough speaking over.
Narrated by Morgan Freeman.
All
right, you can certainly purchase things while you're here, but on that, she lets you go.
How many weapon fusions can I have on one weapon?
Up to a combined level of the fusions equal to the
Level of the
level.
other?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically a Narkic is already filling up my pike here. Yeah, I'll look around. You go back to the others a bit. Take a round.
Yeah. What are the others doing in your forced time off, pretty much?
Well, Thaddeus is enjoying some downtime, really. Having drinks, watching some junk TV. Maybe going to the local shooting range, and yeah, just normal, just relaxing, really. So he's not got any plans to do anything.
All right. So the day goes to an end, and you can have a nice nap in the soft beds of the hotel. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
Yeah, we also had daylight savings now, so that pushed things around again.
Oh. Hi, Jake. Hello.
I assume he would also be paid for the job, Sheep?
He will also be paid 1,000 credits and store credit.
Yeah. For the job we were paid for, the bounty on that dude. So that wasn't a bounty, but we still paid.
Yeah, the IP is in the chat if you want to connect. But for now, day is over, new day begins. You will see that you already have a message from Tiscus basically saying, all right, he organized things. It actually went rather quickly after he once again reiterated how big of a threat he thinks that is. And there will be a meeting this afternoon in the Lawspire complex, as usual.
Yes. Well, great. Could actually, well, the previous day, could Telos snoop around a little bit with his contacts, see if the Devourer cult has any presence on the station that is known of?
Sure, you can do that. How exactly do you want to do that? Do you like call up your friends and be like, hey, what do you know about the Devourer cult?
Call up, what was the name? Let me find out.
Your steward contact?
Yes.
Yeah. Assistant Commissioner Flanell.
Yes, Assistant Commissioner Flanell. Call her up and be like, hey, is there any ongoing investigations or any activity, anything at all pertaining to something called the Cult of the Devourer?
She pauses for a moment, then asks, what time frame are we talking about? Recently or in general?
Say the last year or so.
Last year, let me think. We did have a few idiots who shouted something about the Devourer while blowing themselves up with grenades. But you have to be more specific. If you're looking for a big event or a big attack, I can't recall anything.
Okay. Is there are there a known gang or a known operation on the station? Do we know if the group has a presence, or has it just been these mad bombings.
Oh, the bastards have a presence everywhere, but not one that we can break down the door of and tell them to get out. They're terrorists. You know how terrorists are. Everywhere. Anyone could be one. Like Bob from accounting could be part of them and we wouldn't know.
Telos frowns a bit
I
and says,
fucking knew it.
so I
See,
think
see Bob's face from the
although
cubicle.
Bob has
Yeah.
a tendency for maliciousness, I don't think he
He's
is
just like-
world-ending material.
You see him, he's just like goth.
Like Telos not picking
Way
up
to
the
go,
sarcasm
label
at
people,
all.
Jenny.
He doesn't get the joke at all. He's just just flat.
Well, you see, I don't know too much about them, but I do believe there's different aspects to them. Of course, the one you always hear in the news are the crazy people attacking merchants and planets, colonies, even Absalom Station occasionally, although luckily not that often, causing as much damage as they possibly can before either dying in the process or running away. But I'm pretty sure there's more to it. Where do they get the recruits from? They have undoubtedly a subtle network just everywhere, and tracking those is like trying to stomp cockroaches. You just can't, or you think you're successful, and then the thing scatters away again.
It is. I would think it would be a hard sell to join this because what the guarantee or what they offer is just death and annihilation, right?
You can almost hear her shrug over the comlink, audio only, because apparently she's patrolling right this moment.
Mm-hmm.
As she says, I don't know. If I would emphasize with their motives, I would probably not be in the stewards. All I know is they keep finding people somewhere. Luckily, not that many, but there's always idiots.
Telos nods. Yes.
Listen, I'll call you if there's anything related to them happening anytime soon. All right?
So, all right. We have some indications that they might be up to something, so anything at all would help.
Well, that sounds ominous. Hopefully not on my station.
We don't know. They are hunting for some kind of weapon that has extensive destructive capabilities. I'm just curious if they have made their presence more known, because the move is certainly very bold.
Well, not that I'm aware of, but I can try to listen around in the right circles. Take me some time, though.
Would be appreciated, yes. Thank you.
All right, Flannel out.
Yeah.
She cancels the link.
Telos has down the link, takes a sip of whatever he was drinking, looks out over the street outside. And yeah, that's him for that day.
All right. What's Maida doing as the Sunrise Maiden is temporarily unavailable due to reconstruction? The others have decided to crash in the Moons of Sleep, the hotel that the Starfinders work together, or work with, rather.
Yeah, that works as well for me. But I will probably, or Madar will probably be, just meditating or thinking about the events of Castrovel, since he does have a lot to think about in regards to that. With all the evil cult stuff and all of the I got my ass beat stuff and such. And then probably like finding a corner of like a courtyard or like an unused room or something to train his mind against the coming darkness or some shit like that.
Okay. The day certainly passes with whatever you keep yourselves busy with, or shopping, or just walking around the station, really. Until Jessica once again sends you a message reminding you that you should probably get here. Because it's important. And maybe you can do some convincing.
Sure.
Thaddeus will bring his gun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how we convince.
It's his
the
armor.
only way he knows.
Persona. He has to wear it.
It's true. I
He
can't
feels naked without
leave
it.
without it. Yeah. Even when
What
he's
about
naked.
the Red Terror without, Red and Terror?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thaddeus is Thaddeus, but only gun. It is very special to him as well, anyway.
Sure. Yeah. We will attend the meeting.
All right, heading to the campus, the Starfinders. It's pretty much as empty as usual, but you're already received by Jiscus, hurrying to the entrance as he sees you approach. He seems a bit nervous as he sort of points you a direction. In fact, towards the same sort of multi-purpose room that he also sort of used for the impromptu party as you were introduced to the Starfinders. Certainly not a ground location, but it does not seem like the Starfinders in general between each other are much about ground. He does sort of start giving you a quick rundown of who the four actually are. Of course, you've met Fitch already, and he describes the other four as he leads you towards the room, not really giving you much chance to really talk. As he initially does his raspy comment, but then quickly switches to telepathy because it's just easier for him. As he will explain to you the four people who I've made portraits available to even show you pictures. On the very right, you obviously already have met Fitch, so there's a little introduction necessary there. Leader of the Wayfinders, the more exploration-oriented branch of the Starfinders. Next to him, just pauses a bit as he sort of just stares at the picture himself, is Zigwix. Did I say that right? Zigwigix, even. Who is the leader of the so-called Exo Guardians. They are the faction that basically concerns themselves with identifying and fighting threats, which, just because it does remark, seems very appropriate in this case. Next to him, the android is Historia 7, leader of the Data Files. Who concern themselves with the acquisition, distribution, and safekeeping of all things data, information, anything you put in a computer.
He's the librarian.
In a sense, but
Basically.
more like an action librarian, because there are situations where there's necessary data to be gathered, but the people who have the data don't really want to share it, and that's where the data files are really at their best. And next to her is a Vesk by the name of Radazan, who is also known as the Dealmaker. He is the leader of the newest branch of Starfinders, called the Acquisitives, which is pretty much a branch of former mercenaries who were hired after the whole incident at the Scarlet Stars to pretty much bolster the Starfinders' ranks. And those mercenaries quickly realized, hey, this is not so bad. Not only can we get more famous, but we can also get more rich than if we worked alone. And so far that has worked quite well, although with the recent degradation of the Starfinder Society's sort of reputation, some of those mercenaries have also decided to once again be mercenaries. Radazem, however, is thoroughly loyal, and Chiskus does seem to respect him probably the most of the four people he's sort of introducing you to. Inquisitors.
Man. Look at these
That's probably
guys.
where
Like
I
a
would have
high-level
been.
adventure party. Yeah.
They should go out and fix us.
Yeah, I know. We could be acquisitives. You know?
I mean, we are acquiring things.
After a few more steps through the campus, you can already see them sort of having gathered in the middle of the large room. They're not really sitting. All the tables and chairs are like just put to the wall. They're just standing there, sort of chatting between each other. Although from their faces and their expressions, it seems that they have some disagreements. At least polite disagreements. They do see you enter, sort of breaking up their conversation, and pretty much each of them getting a varying degree of a smile, including Fitch a little bit, even though he's still sort of skeptical about your methods, perhaps. They are also not alone. Each of them appears to have brought, well, the broad term would be friends, or at least company. There's another Yusoki currently sitting at one of the desks near the wall, currently looking at blueprints or something, as Fitch occasionally looks over and gives him advice or instructions, who knows. Zigawix has another person with him as well, who's simply a human, like brown hair, sort of same armor as he's wearing a very stern expression and a rifle at his side, just looking stern really as he stands behind him. Historia 7 brought someone as well, who can probably introduce himself.
Yes. Which may see is Alashanta by first glance. He's very lean. He might seem like the intellectual type, and not very sturdy, that's for sure. But he's wearing fairly hefty armor, and he's very armed. So it's clear that he knows what he's doing. But as the party comes in, he doesn't really give them much of a smile or anything. He's just looking at them, studying them.
And as of course Radazem, who out of the four has come alone. Compared to Victor, he is of much smaller stature and visibly older. And an old Vesk means one of two things. He is either incredibly skilled or a coward. The scars he has, however, sort of imply the former. All of them are pretty open. Fitch sort of stays back a bit, where Radazem is the kind who immediately sort of not storms towards you, but immediately gives you a wide smile, showing some teeth, stretching out a hand to shake your hands, with a fairly intense handshake. Whereas Historia 7 is more reserved, but all of them pretty much make a bit of small talk before they sort of almost like as if they all got the same message, get a bit more serious and start their discussion. It seems you are pretty much just there for the ride as they talk between each other again, loud enough for everyone in the room to hear what they're discussing about. Just sort of indicating to let them talk first. Like they are the movers and shakers in the Starfinders. Surely they'll come to some sort of agreement about what to do about this, and surely it involves you because you're heroes. To summarize what will be a very, very, very long meeting, at which point you may interrupt me at any point to ask questions, but I don't want to have NPC to NPC talk for an hour, so I will summarize what they talk about. One after the other. Historia 7, leader of the data files, which is, as I've said before, the Starfinder branch that deals with information gathering and distribution, thinks that it would be a mistake to pay a rumor too much attention. This whole thing about whatever super weapon, or she sort of looks towards you, or whatever else the cult thinks they might be finding, might very well be a simple diversion. She considers it very, very unlikely that a sensationalized, exaggerated travel guide of an ancient charlatan led to a pre-gap library of a tiny sect of elves who have the exact information the cult of the Devourer was looking for. It seems quite ridiculous to her, and she makes that very obvious. But logically, to her, it sounds just like an attempt to seed chaos and fear. I mean, look at you, Thor and Chiscus. You are basically trembling in your boots, she says anyways. The idea that the cult is only one step away from possessing an alien superweapon would surely help them find more recruits, however. Real threat or not, she thinks that focusing efforts on solving the very real and very palpable crisis of the scoured stars would directly solve this threat as well. Because what better way to combat a crazed cult than to free the hundreds of veteran Starfinders currently trapped? Fitch, on the other hand, well, the other three leaders seem to be taking the threat more or less lightly, sort of putting it off a little bit. He seems to be the one that takes it the most seriously. Relatively serious anyways. He doesn't think that chasing after the cult here is the way to go. You would always be a step behind them. That's not a good plan. However, he would much rather have the Starfinders locate this gate by themselves. And he knows exactly how to do that. Because the Master of Stars is the key here. The flagship, once it's done, will have the most advanced sensors in the entire galaxy and a prototype drift engine that will, according to him, redefine the meaning of distance, literally. But there's still a few problems there, but surely that's the right way to go. And if the four of you are so intent on dealing with this threat, surely you could help him deal with those problems instead, which would directly solve this threat, he's sure. The Vesk is, perhaps surprisingly, the most soft-spoken of the four. He listens far more than he speaks, and when he speaks slowly and deliberately. He says that it would be very foolish to rush headfirst into danger, and chasing such a faint lead as a signal sent into the diaspora, that would be time wasted. If the society wants to be able to face this danger, and also any future dangers, it needs to get rid of the galactic stigma that it might be on its last legs. It needs allies, it needs new recruits, it needs new connections, it needs resources. Those are the things that ensure galactic survival, now and in the future. He does admit that it might take finesse and favors and dirty work and all that, but in the end, there are very few problems and threats that cannot be solved with money and friends. He also, sort of after his talk, turns away from the other three leaders of the Starfinders and turns directly to Chiscus as he chastises him for rejecting the money that Astral Extractions had offered him. It may be blood money, he agrees, but it's money. And money wins wars, morals don't. Chiscus just simply nods a bit cowed, perhaps. Although Chiscus, most of his attention seems to be directed at the other Shiran of Zigwix. One of those words.
Sheep, is this, does he say this out loud too? Is this,
yeah.
Oh,
all of
okay,
this is said out loud.
So, well, you can definitely see a visible reaction of not disgust, but definite annoyance on the Lushanta's part here as he hears this.
Thaddeus is giving that like slight head shake, slight nod of I kind of agree, but I don't kind of agree because it is kind of dodgy still, but it is money.
Yeah.
Telos
Victor
has
doesn't think that money can be evil, so.
Telos has his arms crossed. Money can be evil. He got thrown out.
He has witnessed this.
Yeah, he got thrown out of the stewards for that very reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vigix, as the last of the 4 movers and shakers of the Starfinders, the leader of the Exo Guardians. As he talks, he occasionally, more often than not, gets distracted by apparently Chiska's pure presence, and there's apparent tension between the two, despite whatever attempts to keep it professional. All in all, he is very unsure on how to proceed. The entire point of the Exo Guardians is to identify and, more importantly, combat threats with whatever means necessary. But the cult of the Devourer has no known stronghold. It's a disorganized, fast-spread group that has stayed hidden and entrenched in society for apparently centuries. There's no castle to be stormed, no planet to be liberated. All those things he would be all over. But pure brute force is not going to solve this problem. Not without finding out more about them first, not without a good target. He does agree with Jiscus that chasing the lead into the diaspora would probably be the best bet. And as their conversation sort of boils to not a conclusion, as they really can't agree on how to proceed at all. Presumably they're all sort of going to do something, at least, presumably. But they sort of first glance towards Chiskisk, and then towards you, as Historia 7 steps forward and says, well, we've discussed our options, but we have not heard your opinion. You were there. How credible do you think this threat truly is?
Shrug. See, I don't really know, but I mean, whatever it is, I mean, the stars are strange in that spot, right? So even if it isn't what they think it is, it might be interesting anyway.
At that, Fitch nods. Oh yes, it's fascinating. I haven't looked at the constellation myself yet, but it shouldn't be too difficult to track down, specifically not if... Well, I've already explained what has to be done to get the Master of Stars running, but I think that's the best way. We can not only find it before the cult, we can also find out whatever we need with enough time before they even get close. I don't want to be a step behind them. That would be terrible.
The problem with that is that I don't think we're any good at building a starship.
No, you wouldn't be. I've seen how you do things, but there are some issues that need to be resolved still. I'm sure I could find a few things for you to do if you were to assist me, and then, once it's ready, head out together.
Beyond that, if the cult is trying to do this themselves, won't they need some sort of way to get there? Couldn't we just take it from them?
But that would imply getting to whatever way they're using either before or as they are using it. If they find the coordinates and you are days, perhaps weeks behind their trail, well, they have days, perhaps weeks to do whatever it is the cult does. Perhaps it might not be enough time for them. Perhaps you could still stop them. But why take that chance when we can get there first? As Redazem sort of shakes his head. You truly believe you can get that chunk of junk moving again that soon? Not only moving, but improved to the point where what you say is possible is in fact possible. I find that highly unlikely. I do not think where you are I do not know where you're getting your resources from, but I doubt you have enough to do what you say you want to. Fitch sort of frowns at him. I have ways to get my resources. Don't you worry about that. And if I had more people more people willing to stick grenades into holes, I could certainly acquire more resources easily.
Telos shoots Victor a sideward glance.
Because it just doesn't seem like the kind of high-profile job that would really advance my career. No offense, of course.
Radazam sort of smiles at that. Your career may just be what the Starfinders need. Members with reputation, very, very important to us, because their reputation is the Starfinders' reputation. My plans might be less. He sort of waves a claw for quite a few seconds, looking for the right word. Everyone else just staying silent. Flashy as the things the others are suggesting, but it is important to have sponsors, to have people willing to give you money for whatever reason. Whether it is to combat this threat directly or whether it is because they like you, it is still money we can use to do many things.
Well, he can see that. He has a sponsor. It has been good.
Telos
He could be the new face of the Starfinders.
Telos
Bet
snorts
Terra, the Star Seekers.
at this and says, in my experience, people with a lot of money do not want to let go of that money unless it is for their leisure or because they want to stop something that threatens their power. He shakes his head. Making friends with rich people and corporations seems like a fool's errand to me. At least something I would not be comfortable doing. These organizations have buckets of innocent blood on their hands.
It would need questionable compromises, yes, I admit that. Or it would need no compromise and more force than I would think would be wise to use against those rich people. Historia 7 sort of turns around and says, you are suggesting we steal from people to fund our operations. Radazam sort of looks at her, nods slowly. Yes.
It is to save the universe.
Historia 7 sighs a bit.
Yes.
It is true, and I could look past the reason Yes, I could live with it, I suppose, but wouldn't it make more sense to free the resources we already have rather than trying to acquire new ones through questionable means? What we need is not money. Money can't fix problems by itself. It can certainly alleviate certain problems when getting the things that can solve problems, but what we really need is people. What we need is information. We need experience. We need people like you, for instance, augmented with enough information to act in the most efficient manner. Alternatively, rather than relying on new recruits, we could simply fix the Scoured Stars incident. You can hear Zigwig's sort of scowl clacking with his mandibles as she says that, as he will telepathically answer, you make it sound so easy, Historia 7. I do not think it is that easy. Jiskisk has told us that this gate may perhaps contain a super weapon of sorts. That is bad news, yes, but it might also be the very solution to the Scoured Stars. The shield that is currently encapsulating the planet that so many of our brothers are stuck on may not hold to a super weapon. We could use it. Radazam responds, let us not get carried away. We do not own any super weapons, nor would owning a super weapon be a good idea.
Can I interject?
Of course, any part.
Well, he steps forward and addresses the party directly and says, "Well, while what you have presented does not empirically prove anything of worth to look into at the moment, and it seems that we are of 4 minds, personally, I'm certainly interested in pursuing this. If this truly is a rumor, then it will simply be squashed quite quickly. However, if not, then it will be an interesting point of study with the Starfinder Society. I myself am willing to work with you on this as a proxy. It is obvious to me that from your broadcasted data of your earlier travels, you might benefit from someone a bit more," he pauses for a moment, "learned in the magical arts and science. And while we are of differing opinions here, I feel that as someone who collects and stores all types of information and data, if this truly is something to look into, then we can certainly pursue it."
Telos looks past the movers and shakers and looks over to Laval and says, "And who are you precisely, if you don't mind me asking?"
Historia 7 looks a bit embarrassed, perhaps, as she sort of steps back, making like place for Levai in the group, as she says, "Oh right, sorry, I meant to introduce him. I don't like small talk.
You are
But-
perfectly all right. That is fine.
This is Levai. He asked me to let him come to this meeting, as he is very interested in your progress. And despite the two of us being of different opinions about the severity of this threat, he is rather insistent and might make a good addition to your group. You have a lot of brawn, as Fitch seems to want to repeat every single time as he talks about you, but lack a bit of brains, I do believe.
Yes, as
And
Historia
I don't mean that as an insult.
Telos frowns at her.
he kind of brushes past her while giving her like a pacifying, like, "It's okay, it's fine, it's fine." Steps forward and addresses Telos' question and says, "Well, originally I'm from Castroville, and I am a freelancer. I give my services to those who need them. Not necessarily for payment. I am more interested in the intellectual angle. But my travels led me here to this station, and Historia 7 shares my goals and ideology, and while we do have differing opinions on this matter, that does not mean we cannot work together."
Telos crosses his arms and says, "I'll be somewhat blunt here. We are now facing a cult that is known for infiltration and staying under people's noses and can't be detected. How do we know that you are not sent by the cult to infiltrate us and destroy our work?"
Historia 7 pipes up at this. If it were, in fact, their plan, it would be a long con indeed. I can vouch for it.
Telos shrugs. "All right."
If you are still in doubt, then that is perfectly understandable.
I'm just cautious with people I don't know.
That is a trait that I also agree with. However, I think this is a matter that, regardless of caution, still needs to be pursued.
And remember my words, if this is, in fact, an attempt for them to spread chaos, fear, divide us, so we cannot oppose what they are truly planning, then do not let them succeed.
The more information we have, the less misinformation they can spread.
Telos nods slowly and says, "Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome to help." Looks at the rest of the party.
What was proposed?
That Levai joins us.
Oh, sure, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is.
what pass, actually.
Look, Victor, He's sad that his shorter friend has left now, but maybe this one can fill in the spot, you know.
We shall get a new one.
His
Throw down.
nickname is Replacement Lashunta.
I mean, he only knows one Dashunta, really. And the one he saved, but he was sick the whole time. So.
Thaddeus will look to consider and say, suppose we are down one. Couldn't help. Couldn't hurt.
Yes, some more brains would be welcome. Cliff throws an eye over to Historia 7.
She looks completely embarrassed by her phrasing.
Levai gives
Taken offense. She doesn't
a
like her.
knowing look. He will turn back to the other leaders and say, anything I do turn up, I will pass to Historia 7, and if there's something interesting, then perhaps we can look into it then. But for now, it seems like we need to know more.
They all agree to varying degrees. Fitch agreeing the least. He knows exactly what he needs to fix a ship. Nobody wants to listen to him. As Historia 7 says, well, there are multiple ways to go about it, and I'm honestly not sure what the best way to do it is. I have a feeling that there are more parties involved than just the cult, as, well, it surely seems curious to me that it responded so quickly. It is a disorganized mess, as far as I'm aware, so where's the direction coming from? Might very well be a simple front by perhaps one of the larger corporations who tend to be behind many things. I have decent information that one of the corporations even has information on the Scoured Stars incident. The two things could be related, and I do have an idea on how to find out more. As Redazem sort of shakes his head slowly. That is very, very far-fetched, Historia. I do not disagree that the corporations know a thing or two about the Scoured Stars, but to imply that they would be working together with terrorists, at least with the Cult of the Devourer, seems unlikely. What we should do is make connections to ask rather than trying to exploit the faint leads we have. It will require perhaps the more pleasant method of socializing, asking, perhaps infiltration if necessary, but it will surely lead to good things in the long term. Zigvigig says, you still have that lead to the diaspora. The signal, we should not simply disregard that, even if it may turn out to be, well, looking for the proverbial needle in the proverbial haystack. Still worth pursuing.
Tiros looks to them, looks to the group, and says, "Can we have a minute?"
They nod.
Alright, gather around, people. It's time to plot.
Rahal.
Yep,
This
That
this
football
doesn't
thing where we all hold each other's shoulders.
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm trying to alleviate Story 7's embarrassment.
Well,
Fine.
where do you guys want to go?
I mean, I don't know what good I'm gonna do at a party with rich people. He frowns. He
Yeah,
looks
I
at the
am-
Besmara written on his knuckles.
Tilos.
My character doesn't really fit in that light, and I don't think it would help my particular persona either. It's gonna make for some boring trailer videos.
Thaddeus like touches the large scars on the side of his head and is like, yeah, I don't tend to fit with those crowds either.
I feel like the part of us that could have done well in that area is sort of gone.
Tilos taps his shin with his mechanical handle a bit and says, "I agree. I'm as likely to socialize as to shoot those rich fat bastards."
I
We're
mean,
a
that
rough
is
and
what,
tumble bunch.
that is what was suggested as another option. Acquiring resources and wealth
We
the
are
alternative means?
we are not a subtle bunch, Victor. All of our engagements have been rather loud.
Mm.
You know,
I doubt we can smash and grab the corporations.
yeah. I don't feel particularly good about building a starship either. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. And going to recover some sort of iron or something, a special pipe, I don't think that's really what the Red Terror would do, you know?
Mhm.
Although having a chance to work on the starship would be fascinating from an engineering point of view. I don't like Fitch. It's a sort of massaging the bridge of his nose. He
That
has never been appreciative of our work, and turning out to be errand boys for him seems not entirely pleasant.
Then there is the chance to charge right into this asteroid field to find the lead. I mean, that sounds like something the Red Terror would do. Take the fight to the enemy, you know, really show the branding.
Mhm. But I feel like we're going in there a bit blind. I'd like to try and get some more information and
How would
like. He shrugs. Says, "I have a feeling that these four might have something up their sleeve, but just heading into the Diaspora, it's a big place."
With the options you've let out, though, I feel like, I mean, socializing it with rich people, building a starship. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
For my part, I am leaning towards either Historia 7's suggestion of figuring out how to free the Starfinders, although I am not as certain as she is that these Starfinders will help us in a way. What is to say that they are alive, or will be willing to turn their expertise towards this problem anyway. So it is fairly far-fetched, especially if it is a problem that no one has been able to crack so far. I don't see how we would have any more specific luck doing this, unless it is the case that no one has actually tried.
I think it's more that.
Going to simply find other people to solve the problem, I mean, that doesn't really generate the storyline that would fit my future, you know.
Telos throws Victor a glance and says, "I'm
We
sorry,
would save
Victor.
them, but then after that, I mean, we would sort of become side pieces, right?
I am. We're trying to solve a problem, Victor. Your career, I'm sorry to say, is not on the forefront of my mind."
Or slightly.
I appreciate your concerns, but if 100 new Starfinders will help, if they're experts, then it would be reasonable to try. But he shrugs. I also agree with the Exo Guardians. Actually following up on the lead we fought very hard to acquire makes sense. I don't like leaving it.
It is also time sensitive. Well, as I understand it, the Starfinders are either going to stay where they are, or well, they aren't there anymore already.
Looks over to Madar.
I'm really kind of split. Like, Madar is. It could really just go either way for him. He could, I think, kind of fit in anywhere except on the building a starship front. Like, he's really just kind of over the life he was living before and wants to do anything right now, and he's really kind of interested in this whole saving the world business because it seems like there's a lot of things to learn, and also he lives in the world, so he basically says, you know, like, yeah, I mean, really, like, I have no specific direction that's more interesting to me or more pressing to me Saving those Starfinders would be nice, but I don't know how the fuck we're gonna get in there.
It seems
So.
to me that then what we are best suited to do is to follow the trail.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, I guess.
It is our clue, it is something we have discovered, and so I feel some sort of ownership towards that line of inquiry. Glance over to Victor, and it would make the best footage, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know personally if I believe this whole end of the world thing. I mean, what they say is true. It has been said a lot of times that something will end the world. Even these deals, instead of rages up, or these gains, as it were. But, I mean, I don't know why we should believe the crazy cultist more than anyone else. Whatever is at this star place, I'm sure it's interesting, but
It's true.
let's try to take out the bad guys, right?
Yes, even if there is nothing behind the gate, if it emboldens a crazed terrorist cult to start killing people, that seems to be something we should look into. And fraternizing at parties will only get us stuck in with the rich people, and building a starship will get us marooned here. I feel like going out, doing stuff.
Who knows? Zigwe Gix, well, he certainly seemed to have the best argument to my understanding.
Seems we're going to the diaspora then. Tiras looks around, unless I misunderstood the party's intentions.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
Victor agrees. I don't know anything about the diaspora, but
It's a bad place.
can't be bad. Can't be worse than jail.
Though,
Could give me a culture check if you like.
Sure, I could do that. I have culture.
let me tell you about the diaspora.
I've read magazines.
Oh
Gives me a
god,
bonus of 0,
that is so
but-
much culture for Mater.
I have a 20
21.
also.
Okay, well, Maida knows a lot of things. The diaspora, however you pronounce that word, I'm still not entirely sure. Supposedly was originally 2 planets, which got blown up at some point by some civilizations wielding massive weapons. But that was before the Pact Rules were a thing. Nowadays, it is a huge asteroid belt. Huge to the point where you can't really have like one word to describe it all, as each region sort of has its own thing going on. There's plenty of mining operations. Many of the dwarves wandered to the diaspora. There are like individual asteroids are big to the point where they are not planets, but planetoids at least. There are creatures native to the asteroid belt who live on the bigger asteroids that even attract a sort of tiny atmosphere to them. And most importantly, it's where pirates hang out. Where there's merchants, where there's miners, there's always pirates. And the massive nature and the confusing and ever-shifting nature of the asteroid belt makes it an excellent hiding spot for pirate fleets. Supposedly, or rather most likely, there's more than one massive pirate base somewhere in the diaspora.
Is it at the edge of the solar system, or like where?
It's right in the middle. It's
Center?
like in the center of the packed worlds.
Yeah, it's sort of middle.
Like if you go to page 432 and 33, you can see it's like in between Eox and the Adari. It circles the entire sun. It's effectively IRL, sort of asteroid belt. Just scarier.
All right.
With a 30, you might also know that it's not just any pirates who sort of have their thing there. but more specifically the three captains, who are pretty much organized pirates, who presumably have their headquarters there, more than likely. Like, people don't just put it on the wiki that, yes, that's where the pirates live, but it's where the pirates live. And yeah, there's a few more notable places, but that's mostly due to the fact that it's huge. There are going to be planetoids that are interesting to people where they build things. From research stations to asteroids that are rumored to be sort of supernatural and sentient to, yeah, it's hard to define. That's how big it is.
I feel like I'd rather go to Akaton than this place. Like,
What would we do in Akaton?
probably nothing, but I'd rather Akaton than the Diaspora. I'd
I
rather a
think
dying
Akaton-
planet. Like, take me home to the desert planet.
I hate Akaton. Never take me there.
Don't say that.
I think
When you
it's-
go there, you'll end up leaving.
I think it's better than the
Yeah.
Diaspora. I mean,
It's
We
where the
just go
signal
there.
goes.
Some guys are going to Agaton.
Yeah, go to vacation on Akaton.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we've come to a decision. Just fuck everything you just said.
So we come to a decision, and then you see our ship just leaving. Like,
Yeah. We've decided on what we want to do. Bye, guys.
yes, yeah.
Or, you know, we don't even go back and talk to them. We just, like, start walking away, you know, turn our hand, wave a little bit.
Sidle out.
Come on, new guy, we're going to Agaton.
Yeah.
Woo!
No, I mean, pirates, you know, if anything, they take stuff from rich people, and it's fine to take things back from them, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it's not, you know, if a thief steals from a man, and you beat up the thief and take the stuff, then it's yours.
Yes,
how it-
that's how it goes. Yeah.
But then, what if they show up with a fleet and then they take us?
My only misgiving of
I
going
mean, then
into
you fly
the
away, right? That's what you do.
the only misgiving
Well-
of going into the Diaspora is if we are if our ship can take it. If we run into a massive pirate fleet, we kind of boned.
We surrender,
Nice.
and then we fight in their like pirate arenas and stuff.
Aha.
Become members of the crew, and then
Ah.
take over the pirate fleet.
Yes, and then we just play Space Skull and Shackles.
Oh, now you're
Yarr.
talking space pirates.
Oh, fidelity.
Yar, we be finding stars.
Yar.
Arr,
Saving the world from a cult from...
Yar, we go cold beard, eh?
I love to picture this as in character.
Arr.
All of a sudden, just gone into pirate.
You know, yeah. Of course, we're doing this too so loudly that these four important people can hear it. Like,
Yeah. They're like looking at each other, sort of shuffling.
Really the guys we want?
Are these guys fucking crazy?
all the people are locked on that one planet.
These guys serious? Oh my god.
Arr.
How long were they in the jungle for? What?
Yeah, I should know.
We did
Jungle fever.
Shiver me timbers.
All right. Yeah, my worry.
These timbers in space.
I be sending you
Shiver
down
me,
to
bulkhead.
to Davy Jones' locker.
Well, sounds like we're somewhat agreed.
All right, we turn around.
Diaspora. God fucking damn it.
Well, I think I speak for the group when we have decided to follow the trail into the Diaspora. It is a trail we have uncovered. It is a trail we have fought and bled for, and it was important enough for the cultists to pay for their lives to get the signal out. It seems reasonable for us to not leave it, but to track it. Surely a signal of that importance would be going to a headquarters of some sort.
It is Chiskisk who seems happy at this, as he sort of nods and says telepathically to everyone in the room, "It is certainly your claim to fame," to which Radazan sort of nods slightly, as Zigvigix says, And once you find something and find out where their base is, we'll be the cavalry.
Nods. Give us a give us a code signal to send.
We can save some cultists for you.
Yeah, exactly. We can't vouch for them being many left when we're done.
You can hear after Zigvig says that, Fitch sort of mumbling into his Yusuki breath. If only you had a flagship.
Madar's thinking to himself.
Maybe.
Of if only you had.
Yeah, like maybe you can entice that like child-eating brain creature to build a ship for you.
If
I don't
only
know.
I hadn't just overplayed 5.
Maybe you should level up a bit, Fitch. You know, get some more.
You know, if you were competent, you could have solved that problem on your own without needing us.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
sell that the exclusive rights to that new drive to like a huge corporation. You'll have all the money. Man.
I heard Astro Extractions is in the market.
Yeah, you can buy like
nice
They'll
guys.
pay good money for the.
I'm sure the immoral sucker up lizard over there can set you up with that.
Oh.
Well,
Wow.
We'll send you a picture from the battlefield where we bleed and die for your protection, you fat slob, while you sip your wine.
Build a starship
Yeah,
that he likes.
the battlefield selfie.
You know it's gonna be his starship too. Like.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna swoop in on a big ship with the name Fitch written in giant letters.
That's
the
huge.
You know what? He can build it and then we'll pirate it at the end of the pirate captain.
Yeah, we'll just take it. Oh, that's an upgrade.
Wow.
We can have an entire bro floor.
Yeah.
Or
Well, you
decks,
have
I
to-
guess.
Below
they're
deck.
called.
You have to have a certain amount of people to run ships that big.
Yeah, but we can make them all, you know. If we can take the ship over, I'm sure that we can convince them to join us. They just look at me and they can't even see anything but my eyes through all the weapons I'm carrying.
I mean,
Let's
you
go
know,
and let's go and become pirates.
just ship Fitch go to the same parties as Fat Lizard goes to, you know,
Yeah.
and he'll make all the
Which
friends.
is, again, I'm sure whatever he's building, it has some good patents. in
Oh,
there.
for sure. I am sure it will be an amazing ship. We're just not the guys to build the ship.
Yeah. You know, he was trying to get fucking Victor on the shipbuilding thing for his strength. And
I
me
can
for the
carry,
multiple arms. I
Here
can
we have
carry
the
2
Terra,
plates of
carry
metal.
steel.
See,
Doing manual labor in the
Yeah,
dock.
see, that's what we would be doing. We would be like doing manual labor for him. Like it's so.
You know what? That could make alright footage. It's his redemption arc.
Then I need to call myself like the means of production and be like the work.
The Red Terror takes on a completely different meaning now.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm his sidekick proletariat.
Yes. we will call it like we will call the ship
proletariat.
we will call the ship the proletariat or something. Will of the people.
Premier.
Yeah, the premier. The comrade.
On that note,
Oh, the comrade.
Cosmic comrade.
The cosmic comrade.
You guys need to get into this.
It's just it's a huge red star on the side of it.
Also, I didn't want to interrupt, but an additional bit of info from Maida about the diaspora. There is a population of humanoids who not only live there on the different planetoids and whatnot, but also sort of are pushing for the diaspora to become like acknowledged by the Pact Worlds as a Pact World, with those people as the head of the diaspora. They're called the Sarkeesians, who are large humanoids who tend to just live on the asteroids there. They can sort of survive in a vacuum for a limited amount of time and even fly around in the vacuum of space. They're certainly a civilized, advanced people, although they're sort of too far spread and really too few to really gain political traction with their attempts at having the diaspora be a Pact World.
Do they speak a unique language?
They speak Sarkeesian. as they are the Sarkeesians.
Yes.
Of course they do.
I
And common,
do-
right?
And common.
I do have a spare language. I could pick up the basics. I could grab the guidebook, the common to Sarkeesian translation book.
The Blue Planet.
That's very niche.
I agree. I'm just, yeah.
You rolled a 30. You already did this.
Yeah.
It's been reading about a vacation to the diaspora.
Yeah.
I
You
just
know, I've
decided
got
to
the
learn
pamphlet
language.
in hand.
In
Visit.
that, in
Travel.
that,
Already looking at restaurants.
in that case, perhaps the Extra Guardians or one of the other faction leaders can help us with tracking the signal if it is possible to pinpoint it any further. If that is not possible, I guess we will be leaving fairly soon.
Just out of one
Maybe.
side and go to the other.
Yeah, they
Maybe-
don't
oh.
think it's possible. You'd have to go there and see what's up, basically.
Very well.
Maybe they can help with like a startup fund, maybe. Huh?
A bit of monetary
Monetary aid.
incentive to not be pirates.
The funds of the Starfinders are very strained.
What if we sell those patents though? I won't say that. He actually doesn't know anything
Just
about
make a
patents.
copy of our supercomputer.
I guess
and
we
then-
will only get 10% anyway. So.
Yes, exactly. 10 gold. Yeah. Well, Attilas will look over to Levai and says, "Alright, let me show you the ship."
Ship, huh? Interesting. Would like to see that.
You're in for a treat. He says, deadpan.
Doesn't really respond. He doesn't deal well with sarcasm,
The thing is, it's not sarcasm.
but he feels like it is.
Attilas is an android. He can't really. He has problems.
Being emotional.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to show him the ship, obviously, until it's done.
You look at this plan, all the
Later.
things you bought.
I promise I have a ship. It's just being
For
repaired
luxury.
right now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know.
Classic grade school. I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's just from Canada.
You don't know
Exactly.
how many Starfinders have said that to me.
Oof. Been betrayed before, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ended up in the
Well,
back of
we're
the car.
different. We promise, Wink.
Yeah, all we need to unlock our starship is just a small investment.
Yes.
Just pay the
3
repairman.
million credits. and you
10,000
can-
credits, and then
One of you went super high, one of you
so-
went sort of low.
you
There
got
is
couple
a
votes now.
as
I've got
a
big dreams.
I mean as a new crew member, there is the ship rent, of course, and
It's true. It's true. We have negative shares in this.
mm,
He is
Well-
too intelligent to buy into that at all. He's 20. and
Mo-
doesn't look
Most
yeah, sure.
importantly, there is the few day long initiation where we have to see
Heckling.
you blackout drunk.
Really?
yeah.
Happen.
This one is actually true.
This one's true.
That did happen several times.
I will
Yeah.
certainly admit that my constitution isn't the best.
Excellent.
Ah, it shouldn't take so long then.
Excellent. Madar's already like corking up. Like,
Can I make just a quick out of character observation? Madar and my portrait, it looks like we're Power Rangers with doing a
Oh,
pose.
yes. Yes.
go Starfinders.
Need like a
Telepathy
ship
go.
that transforms into a robot with 5 parts.
Yes.
I mean, if we can get that,
Madar is the
If you
forearms
can get-
module.
if-
I think we got the fuck out of
if we could get the sword on like 5-part mecha robot thing, I would love
Oh,
that.
yes.
That's what
Dude,
he's building. Nobody
we have
knows.
to make the Starfinder Megazord.
Yeah.
Oh, the mega sword.
What morphers are we gonna use? Oh, so many
Oh.
choices.
No.
Mm,
My God. Well,
Anyway,
I loved that show when I was a kid.
yeah.
well, time to get Levai stupidly drunk while we wait for the ship to be.
Quickly to the bar.
Victor will go in with the rest of you and become, mildly affected.
Mildly effective.
With all these tiny people.
I think
Telos is
Levai
not-
is going to die.
Telos is not too much for, socializing like this, but is a new member, so he has read one time that you should go out and drink to get to know people.
Open up a bit.
got
you know?
him the book.
Yeah. Like a joke for bachelor parties. Just drink no matter what the occasion is.
There is an occasion you must drink.
Don't know what to do? Drink.
Telos is like, oh shit. Alright.
And good luck to Fitch building the ship. Good luck to Radazam kissing up to fat asses, and good luck to Historia 7 to solve a problem no one has solved before. We are gonna go and
Get out of here.
Blow some shit up.
Yeah, get ready to go to the Disportia Spora.
Alright. New journeys.
hi Shiskis, bye Shiskis.
Oops.
I didn't realize.
I'm also
this was
waiting
something
for a
else.
message from my sort of person of interest who's here. Or
Telos looks around and says, person of
admit that.
interest.
What?
You should never hear from him.
What person of interest?
Don't question it.
there's a person who will not identify themselves who's been giving me like assistance with things. I was told that they might soon want to meet, and I should shoot them in the face when I do. So,
Telos
I
quirks
might
an eyebrow.
leave for a few minutes. At some
Are
point.
you sure about that last part, Victor?
He nods and takes out the Aurora NS-side cold iron cannon. This is what I was given. It has
Uh,
5 shots on
Worth
it.
noting, it's the kind of weapon you can't really hide.
Yeah, Levai just kind of eyes it with like a bit of surprise.
Simon said that it would disable anything that is mechanical, or anyone who has mechanical augmentations in them, but get them to just the brink of death without actually killing them.
Telos sort of sidles away a little bit, and you are
And
to
what about
shoot.
those that don't
your-
have these things?
And you are to shoot your
They will die
mysterious.
if they don't have it.
And
Ah,
your plan is to shoot your mysterious benefactor with what seems to be an anti-tank gun.
I will take a look at him at least. I mean, Simon has been very nice to us and given us access to armor and weapons that
Oh.
we can purchase without
It's her setting you up to do this.
nuts. Yes,
you-
she was satisfied with what we did with the other guy, though I think he was actually not we weren't supposed to do anything with him, just we were sent to find him so that he could help us, but we ended up not really needing that.
So you're turning into a hitman.
I can hit things just well.
I mean, an assassin.
No, I'm not killing anyone.
Looks at the tank gun.
just incapacitating them to the point where they might as well be dead.
Are you sure the person is an android in that case?
I mean, I will meet them and see.
It's not that visible always.
That's quite true. Do you have anything to check? An interface, perhaps?
Frowns. I shouldn't have told you.
Do you know what an interface is? Kind of looks at Talos.
Talos looks over to Victor and says, I mean, you do you, Red Terror. I'm sure the pictures will be great.
No. Yeah, I hope so.
We don't have the money to bail you out of prison, I'm just saying.
Frowns.
Uh,
You only become prisoner here if you hurt someone who's rich enough to make you go in prison.
Not,
Otherwise, the whole spike would be there.
not necessarily. Telos looks around.
Or you have so much money you don't go to prison.
Yeah,
That
as well.
is- That is mostly how it is, yes. Well, I guess I'll be in the bar. Just shrugs at all of this madness.
You do you, Big Red. You do.
You might want to bring Maida, though. You know, Maida is going to be, at some point, a wrestler as well.
Power Ranger wrestler.
I mean, the whole Solarian gimmick, 4 arms, it's just perfect.
So you head to the bar. Do all of you head to the bar, or anyone split off? And
Well, I'm being introduced. I'm going. As far as whoever is bringing me, that's the question.
Victor's going.
I think we're all going.
all right. You head out of the campus area towards like which area of Epsilon Station do you take him to? Like the real hardcore bars would probably be in the Spike.
Yeah, the
Would
Spike.
be more
Definitely.
okay.
Next to that Son Kuthon brothel place, you know.
That might be a bit much for a first time.
I mean, he lives here, right? He's been here for a long time. He knows about these places.
I don't usually drink.
Yeah, have it away.
That is patently false. You are blackout drunk most days.
Don't have anything else to do.
I do research. That is what I do.
I'm only blackout drunk when I'm not piloting the ship. I'm
I
just
would hope
slightly
so.
drunk when piloting, alright?
The good thing about space is there's so few things to hit.
Yeah.
Why is beginning to
As he
worry
just,
about
as he just wobbles around with the
It's a pretty
ship.
good mentality.
You've
The
already
gravity
got-
makes it so no one can feel how much we swing about. So
You've
then
only
it
got to
gets
be
super stable.
drunk, got to be sober for the docking and the undocking. After that, you're fine.
I thought you
Also,
just
the asteroid field chase scene.
explains why we use the autopilot for that so much.
So yeah, I mean, we
Imagine
go
those
to like a
pilot buttons
good
being ripped out.
place. Victor lives here. He knows like a good place. That's like, it's like more like a pub than like a bar, I think, because he's, you know, like in some way he doesn't want to seem like the sort of college frat trash that he really is to new people the first time.
Mhm.
So we'll go to like a nice like pub place.
Yeah, we have to
Probably
ease
enough
them into
pay
that.
too, you know. Actually, pay for good stuff. We don't need like to smuggle in cheap cans of alcohol.
Get some nice whiskeys and
You know, pretzels in the middle of the table. And then just by like in like a booth. And,
never eat the bar pretzels.
drink
Yeah.
beers and stuff.
Always buy a pack. Never take it out of the bowl.
Oh, it's fine. What's the worst that could happen?
It's my hint for all of you who come to England and go to a pub.
Oh yeah, don't
Eat about a bowl.
Don't.
Oh
Oh,
no, just buy the packet stuff, guys. You'll regret it if you don't. It'd be horrible.
that bowl has been used so many times.
For everything
For
that's not
everything.
food.
Yes. Oh, including cleaning stuff, etc., etc. Hint, hint. Oh.
Anyway,
I missed what that was in context about.
The Britain PTSD right here.
Excuse
Don't
you,
take
sheep.
anything
I'm
from a
not.
bowl.
A bowl
Yeah,
of what?
it was rude.
Just a bowl. British people use the bowl for everything that's not food. So
yeah, like he said, a bowl of like pretzels on the bar, and it's like, yeah, never use those, never. Mm-mm.
I see.
Man, I worked in a bar, and that was even horrible.
but now we get to be the customers. Victor tips well.
In America, we have these little like dishes. They're like long, shallow bowls that are specifically used for the little snacks.
Yeah.
Or like breadsticks rather.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like whatever. They're like the little table snack bowl things, except for when you have like rolls or something, like bread rolls. Those are always in a bowl or something.
Those are nice when they're done there and then. But yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
I could see why you wouldn't want bar pretzel bowls.
Yeah.
As you make your way out of the Starfinder campus, sort of walking along one of Epsilon Station's many arms to get to the spike, to the great place that Victor knows. It will be great fun, he's sure. There's quite a few people around, lots and lots of traffic, which isn't unusual. Seem to have a few ships docked rather recently. Thaddeus, I want you to roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Yes,
I need
we
to
all
remember
know
what I
that's
have.
great.
It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
Oh, you get rid of your gimmick.
So, well, when I roll a 2, it's not.
Looks like Thaddeus is so concentrated on the upcoming party / bar brawl or whatever that he only spots, just as they spot all of you, a group of 6 Ikashti, small reptiles, red from Akiton, walking in a tight group, heavily armed with a multitude of pistols, grenades, the occasional rifle that is taller than they are, walking like sort of a bit lost through the crowd of people. Who is avoiding them? You can see following some meters behind them, following the group as it slowly winds its way through the crowded streets. Assistant Commissioner Flanell, sort of not very subtly following them, scowling heavily, flanked by the 2 chrome white security guards that you've already, security robots even. Sort of just following them at a distance, making her presence very, very known. As the group, however, spots you, and more specifically Thaddeus, the group of Ikashi comes to an abrupt halt as their reptilian fingers are pointed. A quick, apparently rather heated argument between the 6 is exchanged. You can even see a picture resembling Thaddeus pop up on one of the lead Ikashti's wrist comlinks. And shortly after that, 2 of the 6 Ikashti separate and head straight for Thaddeus. Not really like showing obvious hostile intent, their weapons are still sheathed, but it's obvious that they want something from you.
Well, Thaddeus will step in front of the group then. And in his home tongue of Akatonian will say, "Now, what do you want?"
The 2 Ikashti, they're like a meter and a little bit tall each. They are definitely not huge creatures, and while they are as reptilian, sort of a bit draconic like Veska, it would be impossible to confuse the 2. The Ikashti on the right seems to be a female, while the other is a male, and apparently the leader of the group, as he takes the initiative, as the other simply scowls. He once again pulls up the little holographic picture of Thaddeus. That seems to be a bit on the old side, a few years at least. Definitely. As he says, "You are Thaddeus, yes? Akiton, you are this person."
Yeah. Please don't. You know, guys, I have to do a service, and when things happen, I gotta do things. You know that. You guys do it.
Is the rest of the party at the same table here?
Well, you haven't reached the bar yet. You were on the way to the bar and sort of got interrupted.
Okay.
You're definitely there.
All right.
In that case, Theodos gets ready to fight.
Oh.
Yeah, Madar is like classic gunslinger, Wild West
Yeah,
pose right
yeah.
Levai's just like, oh, what's going on? I'm confused now.
Thaddeus will put his hands out like hang on, wait.
You can hear the
Tumbleweed comes by.
The Keshti says, "There's much blood on your hands and weapons, however." He pauses as the other one says, to the Keshti, not to you, "We don't need help." She says, "I do believe we might need help. You know what happens to our kind on occasion. You've killed many.
Yes, some would say it was my specialty.
I will not thank you for your service. You are still considered a terrorist by my people. Worse in some circles.
Oh.
He shrugs and says, some would say hero in my species, but anyway, what help do you need?
The other Ikeshti pretty much turns away in a bit of a disgust. The other pauses, says, some weeks ago, a group of our merchants went missing without a trace on their way to Maro. An unfortunate but not unusual occurrence with people like you around. But what is unusual is one of the merchants being spotted on Epsilon stations shortly after, thoroughly mad. We are here to resolve the issue before it gets out of hand, but we are, how do you put it, out of our depths. This certainly is not the Badlands of Ekiton. This is much, much worse.
Thaddeus slowly nods and says, so you want us to find out what happened to these merchants?
More importantly, we want our broodmate resolved. Ideally, captured alive so he can be brought to home, to perhaps still be fixed. But if he cannot be soothed, then he is better dead than rampaging through the station, giving our entire race a bad name.
Thaddeus nods. Says, do you have anywhere to start from?
We have heard he roams the spike down below the upper levels of Epsilon Station, but other than that, we have no information. We have a picture sent to us by, well, we do not know.
Pre or post change?
Post.
Okay. Thaddeus shrugs and says, I'm sure that we could do something about that for, helping your people. And the station kind of looks at the security behind them.
Yeah, they've sort of turned their attention towards just you here with the two Ikeshti.
He adds that last bit quite loudly.
Yeah. Assistant Commissioner Fennell just sort of a nod. She did get visibly more relaxed as she realized that this was in fact Telos 7's group, which is unlikely to cause havoc after all.
That is, if we can arrange some I can't think of the right word for it right now. I'm trying to think of the right phrasing for basically asking for money.
Reward.
Ask for money. I mean, you're a cold-blooded terrorist, mercenary murderer.
Yeah.
Like, you're not here to be pretty.
What's in it for me is always a good option.
Like non-lethal missions fun.
Exactly. I pay extra not to kill them.
Thaddeus will say, well, of course, we'll need some compensation for doing this, but I'm sure that you can arrange that.
The other Ikeshti sort of turns around and rather exaggeratedly rolls her eyes as she mumbles in Ekiton. Obviously, he wouldn't help us because he's such a good person. The other Ikeshti considers for a moment. Says, we do not have money to pay you, but...
Goodbye.
Yeah, I was about to say.
as he sort of grabs the rifle that he has slung over his back.
Madar grabs his.
Thaddeus puts out a hand.
Yeah,
again
I've
to
said everyone
Wait,
moves
trust.
very
wait,
slowly
No
now.
trust.
wait, hold.
Ikeshi slows down as he sees the reactions, but sort of just holds it to show it, sort of sideways, not pointed at you.
Mhm.
As he says, this rifle perhaps has as much blood, Ikeshi blood on it as you do. We have had to do much work to make sure that our maddened brothers do not go rampaging. It would certainly be more advanced than whatever you're using.
Thaddeus will go to look at the gun, pick it up, take it and look at it, inspect it.
As much as the last bit that the Ikeshi said was a bit on the nose and perhaps meant to be a bit degrading, he's sort of right. It's an advanced Shobat Horizon Striker.
Yes. Okay, Thaddeus will slowly nod and say, I think I can do something for this.
Of course, if this particular weapon does not suit you, we can perhaps give up something else of our armaments.
Thaddeus frowns and says, I think this will do just fine.
The Ikeshi nods and says, you can find us, sort of looks to the other group, here somewhere. We do not have a place to stay. We will give you our comlink.
Thaddeus will take the comlink number.
After a tight nod, to head back to the group again.
Thaddeus will turn around to the group and say, well, I think I've just stumbled upon our next version of initiation. Wait, he sort of says with a smile.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't know
traditional
you
side
were
quest.
categorized as a terrorist.
I'm only thought of that in some circles. They do it all the time. Basically, if their race don't procreate for long enough, they change into large beasts with engorged muscles and giant horns and can rip a man in half. I kill them because they are a menace. They go crazy. But sometimes you can bring them back by them procreating, and I didn't do that per se. I just stopped them from killing people, and they think me a terrorist.
that's certainly a shame.
Tilos already knows Thaddeus' background, and he's accepted it. It's a necessary evil.
Their own race do it. I just help them.
I just do it for sport. I don't see the problem.
We don't get a little bit of
At
money for it.
the end, they're dead anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter if
But did they give Thaddeus the gun as like a start off, or will give him?
No, they kept that weapon.
I thought so.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, he says that rifle though, they're quite rare actually. Only the giant four-armed creatures of Akaton own or have them and create them. And finding the nomad people is quite difficult. But he's in the thing that we're looking, or the man rather, sorry, that we're looking for
is in the spire. So as we're heading
in the spike, not the
in the
spire.
spike, sorry, in the spike. So I think it's pretty much on our way.
Certainly true, yes.
And it would just be like going after that crazy monster that one time we were here.
Nothing kicks off the party night like actually murdering something first, right?
Exactly. You know it.
It's
Till-
the spike.
Classic
We would have a-
initiation side quest.
If we're
Never
going
goes
to
wrong.
the spike, we have to kill someone sooner or later just because they're in our face.
Tilos doesn't look entirely pleased by this.
So many gangs down there. Like, there's no law, no order other than what the gangs say. I mean, if you disagree, then there's going to be a fight.
I don't necessarily like killing things.
I agree, but I mean, how else would you get by in the spike?
By looking so scary that no one approaches you.
No, that works. Though that sometimes just edges them on to try to show how big they are.
Why do we go to the spike for this?
It has the best places. And it's the only place we can go in with armor and weapons.
Tilos shrugs. Well, the hotel might have worked as well.
I mean, we want to keep going there.
That's true.
It'll be fun. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure. I can let Thaddeus decide on how this initiation's going to go.
We'll kill a giant, or kill/capture a giant, crazy sex-deprived lizard.
I mean, we have our own lizard. Maybe he can help. I'm just saying.
No, I don't think it quite works that way.
Different solar system. Technically, you'd be closer to him than I am.
Oh, I'm a machine though.
True.
That's true. Says quite a lot.
So, you know, it's...
Well, Mados were a different one too, and I guess Thaddeus was really closest.
Yeah, I mean, he knows them. That's what. That's
Yeah.
you know.
Thaddeus just shoots them. That doesn't mean he knows them.
Just like as a thing he does.
Well, it used to be, at least.
Victor was more learned. He might think of that as like a colonial thing. Just go to a planet, shoot the natives, you know. But he doesn't.
Well. Further into the spike, I guess. On the active lookout. Maybe we'll go the long way around.
All right. The spike's a pretty massive place, though. How do you plan on going looking for this thing? Just sort of wandering about?
Well, they're pretty big. They're gonna show off a pretty obvious trail of destruction. Considering it's crazy.
Is this something that would be something Levi can search, or either ask Historia 7 to kind of give him access to data that he can search for the location, or
What you could search is the equivalent of rumors.
okay,
Pretty much, there's a bunch of like forums on the Infonet
Yeah.
at some station. If anyone has spotted like a mad thing running around the spike, it's probably going to show up there first.
sure, he'll trawl through, we'll look. What would that use though? Assuming computers, I suppose.
Computers would work, yeah.
Sure, I'll roll computers. Wow, that's the worst. It's like it's a 3. Wow, it's a nice roll.
Can I roll computers? Oh,
Sure, you can try as well.
I think Maptool has crashed.
What
Hang
do
on.
you want me to roll it for you?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Marginally better.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got a bad roll. That's all.
yeah, looking around the not necessarily the official news of Epsom Station, but more like what's it called? Not the yellow pages, but like the Craigslist equivalent, basically.
Yeah.
The darknet.
Yeah,
The
sort
Twitter
of.
hashtag darknet.
Epsilon Reddit.
Yeah, the trashy Twitter, basically.
Yeah.
You can certainly find hints of people like going like, oh god, what the hell? There's something that came from the bottom of the spike, and those things, and it's now terrorizing. But you can't really find an exact location. But it does at least help like narrowing down the search.
Okay.
Given a couple hours, you can probably cover that area where those people were. It's going to be a bit of a search, though.
So what is this thing exactly again? Like, what is
Let me tell you.
Yeah, Thaddeus can tell you.
it? Okay.
So, there's the diminutive red lizard people called that we met, and they're generally peaceful, nice people, but their reproductive cycle means that if they don't reproduce after a while, they go crazy and transform into a monster, basically.
Wonderful.
Yeah. They are usually pretty good at stopping this. They have a whole system. I'm not sure how the system works, but they have a system. They tend to stay in their own place away from the normal cities. And it's not really much of a problem, but every now and again it is. But I will warn you, these guys are big, very, very big, bigger than Big Red here, and Red as well. So I guess they're bigger Red.
Red terror, it seems.
So yeah, they're pretty large, some would say.
All right. You can see him like he's looking at you and listening to you, but one of his hands is frantically typing on the computer clipped to his waist as he's looking at you.
And you definitely, I mean, the only person I would really trust in close combat with that is another Big Red and or a man with possibly no mouth. He kind of grins looking at Maida.
You never know, dude.
I
I dare you to find out.
We still don't know. Yeah.
The mystery continues.
Mm-hmm.
It seems then we would perhaps preemptively strike then.
Oh yeah, the sooner this thing's caught/killed, the better. These guys can rip people apart. It's not great.
That's good to know. Thank you.
And away we go.
Wandering through the dark hallways of the spike.
Big Red, you still got those manacles, right?
Oh,
No. Well,
The restraints. You got restraints? Okay, sweet. One of you had manacles. I don't remember.
probably the bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some bounty, boy.
Most of the hallways, like deeper in the spike and the unclaimed areas, are either lit barely by just the coincidental glow of some sort of machinery, or occasional sparks being shot into the path by malfunctioning cables. Certainly a bit of a mess, especially as you go to the presumed areas where the Twitter people have told you that the thing may or may not hang around. But it's certainly not the best conditions. Your steps echo a bit. The occasional noise that you hear is either creaking machinery or dripping of some sort of fluids, either from the walls or the ceiling.
Been bamboozled.
Give me perception checks.
Oh, cheap. What do I do for this?
You rolled perception.
Perception.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a skill.
That is wisdom. I should probably add that, but I'm untrained, so.
Untrained
Wait,
perception.
I rolled.
What?
I rolled a crit actually.
Yeah, but you can't crit skill checks.
Oh really?
This is
No, you can't.
In
That's
nothing.
good.
You,
That's
I don't-
good.
Is there actually a system that lets you crit skill rolls?
I mean, I'm sure, but
Yes.
not
Yeah.
most
Yeah,
DPSs
there is.
don't.
The for example, the Star Wars roleplay system certainly does it.
Sure.
But no, that's good to know.
Yeah, but you walk through fairly dark hallways, occasionally hearing noises. And while you initially hear some sort of electric sort of hissing, like just a wire shooting like massive amounts of sparks all of a sudden, both Maida and well, actually only Maida. Maida thinks that there's a bit more to it. There's like a chittering that came just before the sparks, as if it was caused by some sort of creature. Not a large creature for sure, but some sort of creature. And you basically have warning that around the next corner there's most likely something.
Yeah, that's a thing that I will warn of.
Well, I guess we
Weapons oot.
Yes. Weapons out.
draw weapons.
Ah.
Victor just
Everyone else
just like
has the
the-
weapons.
yeah,
Victor draws his phone.
Hold on, my sponsor's on the phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't do today, but tomorrow.
I'm just a little bit busy right now, but
Oh God, we're going to die! Ah!
Next time he shows up with like Coca-Cola company logos all over him and
we're just bleeding out like well, with the sweet taste of Coca-Cola, you can be good.
God.
are you drowning in your own blood? Instead, drown your thirst in delicious Coca-Cola. It's like
Oh,
he does like a
sponsor us.
he does like a thumbs up and then like we're just dying in the background.
Yeah, we're dying in the background and he's like grinning into the camera.
Ew.
Excruciating pain, why?
If you drink some Coca-Cola, you'll be fine.
Refreshing.
I would very much like to not be inside the wall.
Yeah, the hallway continues this way. Also,
shall
give me stealth check, or you can of course decide not to try.
Well,
Wait,
let's see what happens.
With this fucking party, is there a point to stealth?
No,
Yeah,
we're trying it.
Find
Jesus,
out.
man, 19. Nice. You and me, Tilas. You and me. We got stealth
I mean,
down,
we're
man.
the only ones with some finesse here, like some grace and poise.
We're
Like all of
beautiful.
these, like lumbering, like.
Maynard and I are just like, how do you stealth? What's that?
Can we
I'm
like
carrying too many weapons to not clank around.
Just stomp, stomp, stomp.
Can we like acrobatic sneaky over here like
Type of
graceful
stealth.
gymnasts?
Lumberfoot.
I have flight, but I don't think it works that well. So
Hush, my
Clank
fly.
goes, like, my stealth is really low because Clank is like, what the fuck was that?
Clank,
move 5 people
Clank
with it.
suddenly talks very loudly all the time, and it sounds like Gilbert Godfrey.
We just haven't. He just accidentally turned the volume up.
Or he has that Danny DeVito New York accent.
oh no,
Yeah.
I'm back.
What are we doing down here?
Welcome back. We're obviously gonna die a horrible, painful death.
Yeah, what's happening? What's going on?
Stealth checks. That's what's happening. Apparently.
Fucking right.
Look at the like high
Uh,
20, early
stealth.
30s.
Yes.
Hey, it was either sleight of hand or stealth. Okay, I chose not stealth.
That.
I can't do sleight of hand. I don't have a point in it.
I have 12.
There we go.
Uh,
It's a fairly good stealth
combined,
roll.
they don't add up to
Oh, why would
Thaddeus.
we be stealthy?
Man,
I mean,
can we just like,
Because there's a theoretical bad guy around the corner.
yeah, can we like acrobat over here, get away from them? Because like,
Yeah, just stab it.
I have
Yeah, you can
not much skill in acrobatics, fortunately.
As you round the corner, you are not surprised, but neither are the things lingering there.
Yes.
Or at least the thing, which is, well, these beasties. You can hover over it to see how it looks because I could never describe it.
It's like a
Good grief.
flying electric eel.
Yeah.
That's a good description. It seems to be sort of have been in the process of nibbling at some of the wiring of the station, but has since then stopped and sort of screeches in your direction.
Oh, good.
We stab it.
It's a lightning Minoc.
I assume this is not like what one of these little people look like.
No.
Oh, this is what they become when they.
I will. This is their final form. No, I'll let you know when we see them. Yeah. Generally, with our screams of terror, but yeah.
So this is what we're surprised by.
We're not surprised by it, but it's like in our way.
They both know. We both know it's there, and they know we're
He's
here.
not
so-
intelligent, right?
Oh, probably
Maybe.
not.
Not like sentient.
I don't
Who
want to
knows?
look into their thoughts right now. I could, but I'd rather not.
Initiative,
Missing Maida and Levai on initiative, unless you want to stay
Oh
out
yeah,
of
we
this.
gotta do that.
It says I can. It says only the GM can perform.
Oh,
this.
sorry. Let me fix your macro.
Thank you.
Now you can.
Also, can you give us like ownership of your
Oh,
token
wow.
so we can see your health?
Yeah.
Out of 6.
You want to cheat. Also, worth noting, this is pretty much entirely dark. You can consider it as being dim light, if it matters
Oh.
for you.
I've got dark vision. It's fine.
I
Beyond
don't
that,
know.
iron stones light things up that are within at least 5 feet.
Also, I glow
Sure.
bright purple most of the time.
As the screech of the creature indicates that hostilities may or may not be joined, Levi is the first one to act.
Yes. So, since I don't have dark vision, how far can I see in dim light?
Dim light would be, I don't know the exact things, but half your normal vision. Let's say like
infinite.
let's say
Yeah.
like 20 feet. I'll look
20
it up
feet.
later.
Okay. Well, that's very
I'll
close.
look it up while we are going.
Right. Let's see. How far can I move? 30. Well,
Why do we
sure.
have such bad initiative?
Let me look it up, Halldamir.
Alright.
Okay.
For now, just assume 20 feet.
Sure. All right. Okay. Well, it's gonna move. That's within 20. Let's see. All right. Yeah, he's gonna shoot at it.
Okay, you can make out shapes, but things that are not brightly lit have concealment, which is a 20% mischance.
20% mischance. Okay. Well, do I roll this before I hit the macro or
Shoot
after?
first. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Sure.
Give me a D100.
Okay.
20 or below is a miss. Yes, you hit the creature.
Yes.
It screeches and shoots out some sparks as you hit it instead of blood.
Ah, interesting.
Hmm.
I can deal with this. I'm about to switch though, because I'm using a cryo weapon. So.
Let's see. Both Talos and Maida can clearly hear that behind these sort of boxes blocking part of the wide hallway, you hear like a bit of a growling, very, very deep. But as if it's just sort of quietly breathing, perhaps trying to hide from you. Victor.
All right. Well. Go here. I'll try to stab the weird thing. You know, as I do.
No, you do you.
It usually works. So let's try to do that.
And that is certainly it, as it explodes into a shower of sparks and gore.
Woo!
Maida.
That reach though.
Madar will mention to everyone about the sound he heard. And 45. I come here to investigate. Does this map go farther or?
Yes, it does. I'm just sort of using.
Let's see a big dragon.
No, it's a horizontal hallway.
Oh, okay.
Does Maida have dark vision?
No.
You're a Solarian though, right? You can probably.
Yeah, I do glow. I'm glow.
You glow a bit. All right. You can sort of make out creatures both here and here, which I will just
Where was the
reveal.
first one?
I'll reveal.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And a rather hulking shape here.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh god.
Which has definitely noticed you.
I use my last 5 feet to go there.
Good idea.
Look at that thing.
This one will shoot past the corner and
Apparently friends with these things.
Oh yeah, why is he friends with the shock Minox?
Might
Who
not be
knows?
friends, but you never know.
this guy will shoot forward and he will shoot sparks all around himself. As it almost seems like he explodes, but it's just a shower of sparks, really.
Okay.
Sparkles!
Rude.
Which means that Maida will have to roll me a reflex save.
Dodge, Madar, dodge!
I will try. Where is my save button? Here.
That is a failure. You take 5 electricity damage and are staggered.
Oh no. What the fuck?
Staggered means you can take a move or standard action per round only.
Oh dear.
No reactions.
You can use swift actions though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thaddeus.
Alright, I'll come over here. I don't think I can see the big guy yet.
No, he's behind a box.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll say he's there though.
Mm-hmm. If you say it's there, then
Why is there so much fucking nasty shit on this station?
They should clean up down here a bit, you know?
Like, these are the fucking worst enemies we've ever fought. The 2, most dangerous things we've ever had to kill have been on this station.
I mean, it is basically a mega dungeon.
There
Floating in space.
there was also that, hypnotizing, life-draining eel thing at the temple. That was kind of bad.
Oh.
Yeah, true.
And the angry moo things that stampeded us for 2
that
hours.
was sucked. Yeah.
And
Well-
the big tentacle flying.
Yeah.
Thaddeus will say rather loudly in he's going to try Akitonian first. We'll say we know that you're behind there, Akeshti. We know what has happened, and we want to take you back so that we can reverse the change.
You hear the answer in form of a roar, which is a single word in Akiton, which just says, death!
That's fine.
Sounds.
Guess he's gonna die, so I'm just gonna mop up these electro dudes first, I think. Actually, he comes after. Oh God. Trying to figure out. He's very dangerously close to me, actually. The Madar's in the way. I'll use Madar as a meat shield.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Get the one back there, yeah.
I'm gonna shoot this guy. I have dark vision 60 feet, so I can presume that the little extra isn't that bad, right?
I think that means he's in low light
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, he is. Who's in the light?
The guy right at the back here. He's 80 away from me, but I've got
Yes,
60
yeah.
foot dark vision.
He is in the light.
Okay. I'll plainly shoot him.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
So
Wow.
a 6.
17
Ugh.
does hit. 17 points of damage. Smashing into him.
Nice.
The force of the blow sort of catapults him into the box he was sort of standing next to.
Punk.
As a flash of light as sparks are shot from him, impacting the box.
Oh, interesting.
Talos.
Well. Excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me. Hello. Let's see here. Yes. Alright. Tills will sneak up here and see if he can blindside the Electrovore.
Okay.
Blind.
Currently, it has cover from your attacks. Partial cover.
It's fine. I don't care about Madar. I just shoot through him. I have considered him. I think that's enough.
Yes.
Alright, in that case, Tillis will bring out the mysterious device he picked up at the temple. And it will hum with weird power as a green ray shoots out to disintegrate the Electrovore.
What?
Yeah.
What is this?
Wand of disintegration.
It's my disintegrator pistol.
The like stream of sort of acid it shoots impacts him and does 7 points of acid damage. He is also flat-footed.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Flat-footed
means
means -2 AC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
I do that. If I sneak attack them, they get flat-footed.
Alright.
As this guy will double move forward and not quite reach.
Holy crap.
He'll
Okay.
hide behind this box.
Okay, sure.
Levai.
Okay, well, it seems like a good time for a spell. Let's see.
Oh, my trick attack should be much more, actually.
It should.
How do I change that? Yes,
So-
it should be 2 additional d8s in that.
Yeah, roll me 2d8 then.
I mean, that's sort of relevant.
Additional 5.
5 extra for 12.
Alright, well. I'm going to cast a spell. But I need to go a bit closer first, so. Here. I'm gonna cast Microbolt Bot Assault, which is a level 2.
Okay.
So, let me explain what this is. Basically what happens is I create a cloud of microbots that hunt enemies. So it's a 10-foot square area. It pursues any creature. If it isn't like if I don't cast it within a creature's area, it seeks them out. If there is an enemy within the cloud grants harrying fire against the foes in them, which is I think it's like -2 to AC or something. And also grants covering fire to anyone attacked by foes in those spaces as well. So if there are multiple enemies, they split into up to 4 5-foot square segments and pursue different targets. So
Okay.
I'm going to cast it at a spot, and I think because I cast it in a creature area, it doesn't move initially, but the next turn after it'll split. So how do I do a box? It's
If you select the blast template.
yes. Oh, okay, I see. So I'm going to make 10-foot box there. It
Okay.
doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you. Don't worry.
No, the so the harrying fire says that you make an attack roll against AC 15, and if you succeed, you get the +2 bonus to hit on them.
Okay.
Do the bots have to make that attack roll, Sheep? Or
No.
No, it just
just
it
do
just
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the first person to attack them every turn gets a +2.
Yep.
Yes. And if you're within the cloud, you get covering fire. I think.
No, if anything in the cloud attacks out of the cloud.
Ah, okay, that's good then. So yeah, I'm gonna pop it there. It has a fly speed of 20 feet every round, so I guess I don't control it. It moves by itself. So
Sure, but you can control it.
But I can control it. Yeah.
But how does it look when
So
I cast the spell?
basically, what happens is he pulls in the latent energy, technological energy from the area. So you might see like the dead Electrovore kind of spark for a moment and kind of like a hum as the area around him kind of gets charged ionically a little bit, and then suddenly just a burst of like it looks like just a cloud, but if you look closer, it's very tiny microbots that are flitting around constantly, and they kind of set themselves upon the Electrovore. And the thing with these bots is that they repair themselves so quickly that they're constantly there. There's no way to get rid of them. So
Nice.
yeah.
Swarm of tiny bots starts assaulting. All right. This guy. He might be close enough. He doesn't care about tiny bots. In fact, they look tasty.
Mm-hmm.
He will go here and slap at Maida with his tail.
6.
Slap. That is
Not enough, boy.
As this guy has had enough and steps out of the shadow, the box he's hiding in.
Yes.
Anyone of you who has dark vision can see that this is not just the creature depicted on the token. In fact, there are like metal plates attached to its head. The left arm is almost completely replaced with a metallic sort of robot-like replica. And in fact, in this moment, as he steps forward, sort of whirs and opens up and reveals a rather large rifle attached to it.
He's got a cannon arm.
As the creature, however, will opt to slash at Major with its huge claw.
Not about that.
Cover?
Oh, not about that at all.
Oh man.
Oops, that was a
Think-
heal.
Ah,
Rejuvenate claw.
I think it's safe to
you know,
say
what's up with
that
your lack
we're
of
gonna have to kill
resolve?
this.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I
you
just
definitely
have
have
forgotten to
resolve,
bring
right?
it back up.
Yeah, you all have taken a rest, so you should all be a maximum resolve.
Okay.
Victor.
Well, I mean,
Kill the things.
I'll give it a try. So I can move over here, probably. Let me just see. Make my 15-foot cone there. With my
clutch.
fire breath.
Ooh.
All right, I will try to
Take a
dodge
DC
that.
14 for half.
Oh, wow.
There's tiny little guys.
They
So
all
everything
save.
takes
Even
half.
he does. Wow.
It's, 6 or 5, depending on how you round.
Let's do 5. I think it's 5. 5 fire damage.
All 3 of them. Because that's a good amount of damage.
Anything else?
I mean, that's I moved and I did my
Okay.
my attack.
Maida.
Well. I really want to attack him, but I don't want to be surrounded by little.
Take out the little guys first. I think.
Yeah. 5-foot step or what
But-
have you?
Attack first.
Is that is it a? It's a move action.
It's a
but it
movement.
doesn't
5 foot step
provoke,
is a move action, yeah.
right? Does it? It does not. Does it not
Does-
provoke?
No, it does not provoke.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Like
Guarded
guarded step. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll attack this 251 boy.
Boy.
Or
That is a miss.
yeah.
Dodges.
And I'm out of here. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. This guy is currently flat-footed, but he's fine with that. He'll. Victor is pretty beefy.
Mhm.
Let's see if he steps there. He's got a fairly smart. Yes, he likes this. He'll. Got to step there.
Doesn't he provoke from Victor?
Not with guided
Not
step.
not with a guarded step.
He doesn't
Oh,
go
you
to
got a
flap.
step. Okay.
A guarded flap, and then he'll spark and glow and explode in a shower of sparks,
Oh,
covering everyone within 10 feet.
that's a standard action though. He's flat-footed, right? You can't. Oh no, that's sorry. I'm
No,
thinking about
he's
staggered.
not
my bad.
staggered. He's not staggered.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
speaking of that, I am.
Right. So we get
Oh yeah, you are. Well, you missed your attack. It's fine.
Yeah.
reflex save.
That's
Yes,
annoying.
Talos, Maida, and Victor reflex saves.
Telos, I'm disappointed in you.
Oh,
Victor
why?
makes it.
5.
Victor makes it. Maida and Talos both take 4 electricity damage and are staggered for 1 round.
Half
Oh.
damage. So I take 2.
You take 2 and are not staggered.
All right. I can take 2.
That is.
Okay.
Maybe this is just stabbing in the dark, but when Thaddeus killed these for a job, he would have known if they had any sort of thick hide that could only be pierced by certain types of ammo. I don't suppose they have any of that, just in case.
Well, you would know that, wouldn't you? No, they do not. However, Thaddeus would also realize 2 additional things, which I'm just going to give you for free. One, they're usually not smart enough to actually hide, because they're just on a violent rampage all the time. And 2, they usually don't have gun arms.
Huh.
Yeah, no, they really don't normally have gun
Especially,
armor.
especially since the size makes it very obvious that that was not just a leftover from him being a tiny reptile.
Well, no. Well, I feel like we're gonna have to bring him down. I'm not sure really, but we're gonna have to.
I still say take out the little guys first.
Yeah. That flat-footed issue is just gonna be.
They start.
Sure. The next one to come around will be the guy in front of Victor. So I'll shoot him. And it's soft cover, but I have the cover thing, and it just cancels each other out, so it's just normal. 20 for 9. On this guy.
20 for 9 is a hit. As the bullet hits him and certainly damages him, you can however see it pass through a thin layer of wavering air, usually indicative of a... Oh, sorry,
This
you were
guy.
attacking this guy. Ignore what I just said. You hit and you
Yep.
sparks. Talos.
Well, I can't do much since I'm staggered, I think. So,
Yeah, you can take a move or a standard.
how hurt is this thing?
Which one?
The one that booped.
Fairly hurt.
Actually, Sheep. I did notice that I can see how much health they have. Is that something I should be able to see?
No.
Okay.
But you can see their
Well, do you mean the
bars.
health bars or the actual number?
The health bars.
Yeah, the bars
yeah,
are...
that's-
That's
yeah.
intended.
Okay. It's just when Jonas
Numbers
said that, I was
are
confused.
different.
Like
Okay.
the bars are intentionally imprecise, so that is roughly how damaged they look.
Okay. Good. No, I just got confused when Jonas said how damaged because I could see something. So.
Okay, well. Well, it can sneak attack, so. Guess I'll just shoot.
That is a hit. He's barely still alive.
Oh.
See, this guy, he was hiding behind a box. Well, he wants to get in there. He will want to fly like so.
I'll take my attack opportunity.
I also will.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I can't take reactions. I'm staggered.
What?
Oh wow.
He makes it to here and then explodes.
Take max damage.
Well, wow. Okay. Cool.
He is gone. This guy's also gone. Levai.
So my spell says concentration plus 1 round. So does that mean as long as I'm concentrating on it, it's in effect, or does that mean I just have 1 round? Okay. So
You can decide not to concentrate, which means the spell would dissipate, or you can concentrate as a standard action. And as long as you concentrate, it lasts.
Okay, I'll keep concentrating, but as the spell says, the microbots are going to split up because there are multiple targets. So basically, what happens is, since it's 3 people, let's say, let me get rid of all the drawings first so I can do this. So we have 5 here.
I mean, let's not spend too much time on this. Like, there's going to be 1 here, and like 2 here. That's good enough.
That's good enough. It's fine. I'll just assume that it's there.
Maybe the last one is even a bit smarter and goes like here.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not smart. It has to attack. Also,
it's not smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Then
It's like, I see hostile enemies. I need to harass them, basically. So.
Okay, that's the standard. Any move?
I'll probably move a bit back, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. This guy probably doesn't like being in a cloud of microbots, so he'll step out. A guarded step. And then he'll slap at Maida. His spiky tail. 20.
Stop it.
Bludgeoning you for 5 points of damage.
I don't like it.
As this guy, the huge, monstrous Ikeshti, his like cybernetic left arm, which is pretty much just entirely a thick rifle at this point, sort of starts spinning almost hesitantly as he steps forward and slashes at Maiden instead.
Okay.
Just
that shouldn't hit though because he's covering. Because
yes, covering fire.
Yeah.
You have +2 AC, so that does in fact miss.
Excellent. Oh, nanobots, MVP.
Victor.
Can Victor maybe shoot him with that giant ion cannon? That'll put him down?
It's a line though, right? You're going to hit Victor.
It also doesn't really do much damage.
No, but it'll incapacitate him, doesn't it? Because he's got cybernetics.
It just can't kill anyone that has cybernetics.
It's non-lethal to the cybernetic.
Okay.
If it gets the last shot, it doesn't kill.
Damage. It's like really not that
good. Alright. I thought it incapacitated things with cybernetics.
Not just base. That would be amazing.
Mm.
I'll just run away with it. I'm going to full attack. I believe, I remember correctly, we can't split up full attack in this game.
Once you full attack, you can't change target.
The real question is, should I try to kill the little guys or step the big one?
Stab the big one, I can take care of the little ones.
Alright, we just don't want any more of that lightning stuff happening.
Yep.
Alright, so if I just full attack the big guy, see how hard he has to hit.
Oh. You stab and do hit twice. The first hit, like as you hit, it's sort of the air shimmers a bit before the pike connects. Usually indicative of a force field. But you quickly break through that and stab into him proper.
Technically, I do chaos damage.
Turns out he does not have resistance against chaos damage. Or blow damage, or any kind of damage, really. Mm-hmm. Maida.
I really want to blow up, but there's so many allies in range.
Oh, do you have an AoE explodey thing?
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Everyone within 15 takes like a bunch.
Oh, boy.
No, I 10.
Sucks.
But yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll fly Victor out of there. It's fine.
I would still hit Telos and
yeah.
I don't want to blow up. Well, I could step in there and only hit Victor and the enemies.
It's
but
fine.
I don't want Victor to take 66 fire.
Oh
it's
God,
fine.
no. Oh no.
What? Victor,
that's a lot.
What do you say?
It'll be fine.
You sure?
My armor has 5 resistance to fire, so
okay.
That's
All right,
something.
Is there a DC for half on this? Or...
yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. But yes.
It might be fine. Fine.
16. We'll see what. Well, actually, they've shown that they can reflex.
A lot.
Maybe
Oh yeah, they can.
You could just stab them.
Yeah,
I
They
could
are
just
small.
dismiss, yeah.
just finish off the one that looks like it's about to explode.
I'm going to do that. I'm gonna. Oh
Access
no,
to
I only have
451,
one action.
because
Fuck.
it acts next. So
Yeah, you have
Against,
a move or a standard.
51.
251. Well, that is most definitely a hit. For 13. He was on 1 hit point.
Oh.
Like he explodes.
but he lost double that.
He was
Yeah.
basically on 1 hit.
Man, I am
Could've
rolling
just-
some poopy rolls.
Thaddeus.
Could have just poked him and he'd die.
Thaddeus will say to the group that we can't just kill it, but we can definitely hurt it until we can knock it out. But we need to find out what's going on here as he fires his rifle into the big guy.
Ooh.
He knows they can take it.
Oh yeah, you can certainly take it. But that is a hit.
Nice.
Is that
Tell us.
Well, I'll consider the Electrovore to try to
Oh.
sneak up on it.
and I go prone because I really don't. If he shoots me,
Oh yeah, the Electrovore does not see it coming.
That's right.
Good.
Humana. Let's fire. Hoya!
40
I'll
is
melt him.
exactly a hit for 19 damage. He melts. Yeah,
Yep.
Melt him.
Disintegrates.
it's like a slimy scream as it melts into a puddle.
Yes.
Yes.
I have family. I'm intelligent. I work as a carpenter.
Oh!
I was just an engineer.
How fitting that something that works as a carpenter also died on day because someone was nailed to a cross. Anyway, let's go.
Jesus Christ! Man.
What?
Relevant.
Galaxy far,
To
far
make
away.
it religious.
Irony is a bitch, you fucking carpenter. That's all I'm saying.
Levai will continue to concentrate, and the bots will, just keep harassing this
Yeah.
runner, and you'll move up.
Jonas used angry Bible talk.
Yes.
Bots do their thing.
It was not
And
very
on this
effective.
day, the Lord.
As the
Jesus.
Rivener will point his weaponized arm in your general direction, the barrel spinning up as it will let loose an automatic burst,
Oh no.
which will pretty much demolish half of the hallway in a cone like this.
Oh
No.
dear. Oh no.
No.
I'm glad I went prone.
I'm glad I stepped over here.
We'll take the damage of the first roll, but the attack roll will be individual. So this will be Maida, Victor,
Ah.
Levai, and Thaddeus.
That's a -2, so is 19 still
Oh, is
hits,
it a
though?
-2?
Yeah, because he's in the bot, so all
Yes.
That
minus.
misses me. Because I have +4 for being prone, so it's a 22, so my AC is 23.
Yes, so -2 to all of his attack rolls. Mine barely misses us good.
Victor gets 12.
I take 14
So
damage.
Maida dies. I'm not fighting.
That was close though. If it was EAC, then I'd be dead.
It's
But-
just bullets spraying everywhere, ricocheting, sparks as they hit the metallic hallway. The Rivener apparently enjoying that immensely, as he sort of lets out a mix between a growl and a sort of ragged laughter.
That is rude.
So how do we attack people non-lethally? Like, I don't even know.
That question came up before.
Smite
It
them.
sure did.
Non-lethal damage. There it
You have
is.
to have like a special weapon to do it, right?
Let's see. You can use a weapon that deals non-lethal damage to deal lethal damage instead. No, you can use a weapon that deals lethal damage to deal non-lethal damage instead, but you take a -4 penalty.
Okay.
You can take another couple stabs, right, guys?
Maybe at least
Maybe.
one.
I do have my Tech Lash as well that just deals non-lethal.
There is
we
something
for a
way
full attack
more.
stab him, or that I single attack non-lethal stab him?
Man,
just-
the thing is, those bars are so inaccurate.
I would non-lethal stab him.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll do it then. I will non-lethal pike him. So
It's just so
22 for
inaccurate.
17 non-lethal.
17 non-lethal. Yes. Also, my mistake last time we used non-lethal damage. The last hit has to be non-lethal damage.
Oh, so it doesn't matter right now. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's why I shot him more. It's just that we can bring him down with lethal damage, but the last hit has to be non-lethal.
I mean, someone's bleeding
But
out. and
the
then you
bar
knock
is
him out.
so inaccurate, we don't know.
Or we can just kill him. I mean,
No, man. We can... There's something big going on here. I mean, shit. They're putting giant Gatling guns on giant lizard people.
Do I have something to incapacitate him? Let's see.
Crazy giant lizard people.
No, I don't really.
But yeah, Maida.
I will whip him. Or I'll just keep fucking rolling under 10 the whole game.
It is a 13, in fairness.
13 does not hit.
Okay.
That
Oh,
is.
right.
He's in the +2.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to non-lethally shoot him.
Shoot his foot.
shoot him in the knee.
There's no rule against it, so
No, I mean,
I mean,
you
yeah,
can
you
shoot
would
people
shoot
later, but
him.
don't kill him.
I'd shoot him in like the hand or the knee or the whatever.
Horn.
I don't know. I'm gonna shoot him.
Intentionally avoiding.
Yeah. So that's a crit actually.
Okay.
So -4 on that anyway, but it's a crit, so it hits anyway.
It's a hit.
And then is it this double the damage die and the mod, or just the damage die? I can't
It's double both.
remember. Okay.
Oh.
So 30
30
non-lethal
damage.
damage. Non-lethal
the-
damage.
Like, describe, because I don't know what just happened.
I guess Thaddeus will aim. You said that he had a giant like metal plate
Yeah.
in his skull. He aims for that and he just waits for him to turn just the right angle so that it doesn't quite go through, but it hits with enough concussive force that it just knocks him out completely. It
Wow.
just kind of hits him and he just stops moving and drops to the floor.
I mean, with that hit roll, you could probably do that for sure.
I've shot through a wall before. All right, this is nothing.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay between the like bullet hitting the metal plate and the creature actually going down, as it more over the next few seconds it's more and more like dazed. Its eyes sort of turning cross-eyed as the gun barrel sort of slows its spin. You can hear a few clicks as if it was wanting to fire more but ran out of bullets. As almost in slow motion, the creature topples over with a massive thump landing on the metal floor of the hallway.
That icon is funny. Sorry.
Thaddeus will
Combat
Stand
is over.
Yay! I can stop concentrating.
and he'll
Madar
say,
looks at his hands like they've betrayed him.
Thaddeus will say, well, the reason I said to leave this thing alive is I've never seen one ever with any cybernetics. And especially not something on this sort of scale. They're traditionally very hard to cooperate with when they're like this. I think we need to go and find his people and try and deal with this. 'Cause if people are grabbing Ikeshti and they're practically forcing them into this state and then engineering them into this, we could have a huge problem on our hands.
Yes.
Because all they want to do is destroy and kill. And
Well, since he's incapacitated, can Levai take an examination to see what exactly has been done to him?
Sure.
What would that be?
You can give me like an autopsy sort of thing, I guess would be life science.
Yeah.
Although to find out more about the cybernetics themselves, I think that would be more computers, really.
Could I roll both to give different perspectives?
Sure.
All right, so we'll go computers first, and then life science.
Oh wow.
Like doing the life science first, you would quickly notice, like doing your quick analysis, like probably using your computer and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it seems like not only did this Ikeshi go mad, it also like got pumped full of growth hormones and other things that presumably sped up the transformation.
Okay.
And also the cybernetics it's wearing are rather crude, really. They're not super sophisticated.
All right.
Looking
like a jury rig kind of job, I suppose.
Not jury rig, but rather a prototype. Not something that has been well developed, but something that seems very, very experimental. Except for the actual like gun part of the arm, that's standard tech. People do that.
Right. Well, yeah, Levi will definitely relay that information back to the party. It's very important, I think.
There are no sort of like identification or like source of origin on the cybernetics, however.
Okay.
Hmm.
Actually, that thing where there was sort of some sort of shimmering shield, is that like a...
That was a force field.
Force field. Is that like a normal tech thing that people have, or...
Force fields are normal tech.
Yeah,
okay.
you can buy them.
All right.
Tasselis will say that I think the quicker we can get this somewhere safe and the more sedated we can keep it, the better. So I think we should hurry.
Let's see. I don't suppose we have anything to keep anyone sedated, any anesthesiacs or anything on our party, do we?
I
No.
don't.
I have some binders that are made for regular sized people.
He's
No.
not regular sized though.
It's more making his unconsciousness a bit more permanent, or because
we can always just continue beating him into submission every couple hours.
yeah, I suppose, but
the only thing I can provide is 6 high explosives strapped to his chest, but that's not going to keep him knocked out.
He's not going to give a fuck.
No, he's just if he is this mindless and pumped full of drugs, then he's not going to listen to any reason. So
God, no. Well, even more reason to hurry up if we don't have any sedative. Victor, how do you feel about dragging him?
I don't think I would carry that, but dragging,
dragging, I feel like you
can
could
work together, sure.
Yeah, I'll help you. I mean, you know.
We'll get him to those people who wanted him, and then then they can take it from there, presumably.
All right.
Wow. Thaddeus is worried about this for sure.
Yeah, we'll take him there. Which can help. He's strong.
Alrighty.
Okay. You drag the large creature.
This must look very weird to anybody who's around.
Yeah.
The Twitterverse is going to explode.
Yeah, you're the next topic of Twitter.
Hashtag Big Red.
Hashtag A Night at the Spire.
As you drag him, your plan, if he wakes up, basically to knock him out again, as far as I've understood. Give me 2 d20s.
All right. From anyone, or?
Yeah, just anyone. 2 separate d20s. Okay.
All right.
He does wake up once during the trip, but you can quickly dispatch of him again. Presumably, you've also taken like a short rest as you drag him.
All right.
Or at least Maida has, so he can.
Yes.
And eventually, You can drag him up the stairs, which certainly is not a pleasant exercise. Attracting initially like curious looks as you get into the more populated areas. Quickly also attracting the attention of the low riggers, the gang that keeps the down low safe. Although they mostly have like a group come up and sort of give you a curious look. More than that, they are not too interested in what you're actually doing. As you like enter the area of the arms, however, you very quickly attract the attention of 3 individuals, in fact. Being her. As she pretty much storms towards you right as she sees you, and with a look pretty much goes, "What the hell?"
Does she then notice who it is and be like, "Oh, okay"?
I mean, she looks more confused than understanding, really.
Telos will step forward and say, "Oh, Assistant Commissioner Flannel."
Could you explain the scene for me?
Well, we have been commissioned to find that creature over there and bring it back to its friends. Sort of looks over to Thaddeus.
It's not a thing. Okay, it's kind of a thing, but it's a person. Damn it.
Apparently, it is a lizard creature that has not been able to procreate and so has turned violent. We are bringing it back to his friends so that presumably he will be able to procreate and calm down. I understand that this is standard procedure with these creatures. Sort of looks over to Thaddeus.
Thaddeus nods and says, "Yeah, the Akashti are a strange lot."
You can see her looking at the creature, her headset like flashing once, as presumably she's just taking a picture. She turns away for a moment, talking like to someone.
Don't post it on Twitter.
No.
I've seen a huge lizard.
As she waits for a good 10, 20, 30 seconds, then nods and says, "Well, that, oddly enough, checks out."
Thaddeus kind of looks shocked, like, "You didn't what?"
Telos smiles slightly. "You doubt
is
me, Assistant Commissioner Flannel? Please."
If I hadn't trusted you, I would have arrested you at the spot.
Oh no, I completely understand. Trust is good, but control is better, right?
Certainly, although control seems rather rare these days.
Sounds like something a dictator would say.
There's a difference between control and tyranny.
Telos nods.
It doesn't take long that through the crowd of onlookers that have slowly been building up around the like unconscious massive creature you've been dragging, you can see the crowd part a bit, and then a couple of like red reptilian heads poking their way through. They pretty much ignore you completely and immediately surround the body, mumbling between each other in not common. Thaddeus being a bit too far to really understand unless he wants to actively eavesdrop.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Do you want to be subtle about it, or do you want to just storm over there and listen?
He'll be slightly subtle about it. He's stealthy as shit. So...
Okay, give me a perception check.
Oh man. We'll warn you, if this fails, I'm gonna do it I'm just gonna go up to them if I can't hear them.
Just gonna be like,
oh, alright.
Wow.
Critical perceiving.
Yes, I hear them fine.
The conversation pretty much is one of shock as they sort of poke at the metal bits in the creature. Not really afraid of it waking up really at all, or afraid in any way. As they whisper between each other how rather like terrible this is. because it's obvious that someone did something there. And they, after a moment of sad consideration or hesitation, sort of agree that it's probably too late to save this one. Even if they were to bring him back, to turn back into a proper Ikashti, the cybernetics would probably kill him because they're not made for a small size.
And they're useless to even interrogate.
He hasn't heard this, but if he is told, then Levi might be able to, I don't know, maybe make the cybernetics inert enough that he's not going to die as soon as they revert him back to his state. I don't know.
I mean, does Thaddeus consult with Levai?
I did see Levi use all sorts of interesting stuff, and he knew a bit about it. So, yeah, he'll say, he'll look to Levi and say, "Hey, they're talking about putting him down. He's even if they could get him back to Daldawat, the cybernetics would kill him. I don't suppose you could perhaps help that?"
Yeah, kind of scratches his chin and says, "Well, wouldn't be a harm to take a look for sure. I haven't done it before, but it seems certainly possible."
Thaddeus will nod and say, "I'm sure you'll have to look closer." And we'll walk over to the Akashti and
Alright.
say in Actonian that our friend here thinks he might be able to help with, or might be able to help with the cybernetics.
They're like, "Have you been eavesdropping on us? How dare you? We're gonna shoot you right now."
One of them does let out a remark like that, but he's quickly sort of just overpowered by the Ikashti that appears to be the leader, who glances towards Thaddeus and in Ekidon obviously says, "My name is Lanan. I thank you for your assistance and your offer. If you can do such a thing, we would be very grateful."
Well, we have a med bay.
Well,
Well, we
not
don't
yet.
just yet.
We will.
Just keep him sedated.
Yes. If we can get some anesthesiacs, then I can certainly administer them until.
Whatever, just keep hitting him.
No, I think that
Let's
would
get some
help
anesthesia.
if we want to help him.
Thaddeus will say, well, our ship's being repaired, so or not repaired, it's getting upgrades and a new medical bay being placed. If we can keep him sedated for the next couple of days while that's built, then maybe we can look.
We have brought sedatives.
That's good.
Perfect.
Perfect. At that though, Levi will turn to Telos and say, "Well, this is something I could probably do myself. I would ask for your help, just as a second opinion."
Tears nods. Sure. I have not operated on such a large specimen before. It could be interesting.
Me neither. Two hands are often better than one.
Looks at his two hands.
4 hands, I would say. Looks over at
Madar.
Madar. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, with the medbay constructed, I think we would have proper facilities, so it should be an interesting exercise. I am fine with you taking the lead on it.
Sure do have facilities.
Certainly. Cut him up for science. I mean,
Enough shit chat! Restrain the specimen!
Chop chop! Just pulls on the gloves.
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Strangelove.
Yes, it is most important that we restrain it a lot, yeah. Ah, such a glorious engine of the destruction, yes. If only we could weaponize it.
Well, with it under the protection of us and ergo the Starfinders, we can do that drinking now.
We could breed these creatures and put them in like boarding torpedoes. We would launch them into enemy ships, and they would like burst through and just start rampaging.
That's what the Starfinder should be known for.
Yes. I mean, we are an independent, like, if we develop horrific, like, biotoxins and stuff now that we have the laboratory facilities for it, you know?
That's true.
Like, next time something shows up, we shoot, like, a necrotoxin missile at it. And it's just, you know...
It's like, oh god, what is this?
It's like, we thought this was banned for the Pact Worlds, why? It's a new strain.
We created it in our bomb.
Well,
We have developed it.
At that, Assistant Commissioner Flanell basically lets out a long sigh, a sort of mix between relief that the situation didn't escalate and also a like subdued, oh god, what a day. as she just leaves.
Yeah, that's fine. Tilas will wave goodbye to her. I'm sure he's sure we will see each other again.
I said I didn't drink, but I think I need one.
That's the spirit.
It begins.
Thaddeus will, however, take his grand prize of a beautiful new rifle.
Yes, yes.
As the cash thief will accept your very generous offer, and conveniently enough, the Sunrise Maiden's construction is already done.
We'll drink first anyway. Actually, we got drinks in the ship. It's fine.
Our luxurious quarters.
Yeah.
I love
Now,
it.
I know you're going to be sad because I promised much, but I only did half the remodeling, as you'll see,
That's okay.
as the rooms have been left in their current state because I just could not get it to look right.
Oh no!
So I only did the science lab and the med bay, which apparently I switched around. So
Okay.
no.
Well, you know,
doesn't really matter.
the construction bay didn't
Yeah,
listen
they
to our
fucked up. They had the blueprints upside down.
Yeah, they were like, oh, okay, well, whatever.
Why do they want a table on the ceiling?
Science lab. Okay.
It's fun when we turn the ship upside down.
I enjoy these
Gravity.
names. They're very. These room names labels are very interesting.
My room labels still? Yes, they are. Yes.
Yeah, we have 2 bathrooms. Is that correct?
But the thing
There's
is,
a stowaway.
we don't need the bathrooms because they are incorporated into our cabins because we
It's
upgraded
true.
our cabins.
Yeah,
So they're like luxurious cabins.
So they okay.
Thaddeus is now here, so it's fine.
So do I copy and then get rid of my token, or undo the copy?
Sure.
Okay. I will quickly save this just in case.
Yeah, saving it.
I do not trust myself to do things properly. Actually, where am I going to be?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask that in character.
It's true.
Yes. Well, Levai will definitely ask.
Where do we enter from? I can't ever remember.
There's multiple airlocks. There's one at the back here, and one in the front.
We'll come through the front. Let's say we come through the front. Form up of entering ship, I guess.
Oh, word, I'm alive. Jettisoned in space.
Thaddeus, as we walk in, will say, "Welcome to the Sunrise Maiden." She's very old, but recently remodeled.
Certainly a formidable ship. I would like to take a look around.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's quite an easy tour. Up over here, he points to the doors, is the deck of shipping.
The bridge.
The deck of ship.
He means it's the bridge.
There's Officer 1 and Officer 2 rooms. I mean, that's, you know, our armory is in here, so you can grab that from the rooms as you run to the bridge. It's fine.
All right.
Further down here, we have the captain's quarters, which has now become my quarters, because the rule of shotgun.
Of course.
This was my room. Is, I guess, now empty. Now to our left, we've got the pods of escaping, otherwise known as escape pods. You probably never use them, especially seeing as we all believe that you should go down with a ship.
Okay.
And to our right is the med bay, which hopefully you will only ever see if you are helping someone else, and hopefully not us.
We'll see about that.
Left and right is now bathing areas. And as we go further, to our right is what is called the Bed of Champions, otherwise known as Madar and Victor's bro room.
Man cave.
Man cave is, yeah. And on the other side is, unfortunately, Teal 7's room, because he's quite sad about the revelations. To the right is the lab of general sciencing.
Oh, really?
It's where we science.
Yes.
Tilas is just rubs his forehead, be like,
Levai just gives a look of contempt, like, I'm serious.
yeah, Tilas has a frown, like, he's like, ugh.
Yep.
Sciencing. Yes, I know the term.
To our left is the cargo hold. Then just here, whenever we call a meeting, we will come into the room of counseling. And over there is where you'll get your food. Although there's no food in there at the moment, because none of us eat.
Tilos points to a small glowing gem that floats around his head.
Oh, yes, of course.
That is points to that as well. That's his as well. It
We,
was very useful.
We rationalized away eating on the horrible jungle world of Castrovel.
Oh, I know that well.
You might want to invest. We could maybe find a place to invest some of this one for you too. So.
We have a spare, right?
That maybe. Oh, that said, we should perhaps actually look up to stock some food that keeps for a couple of years. In case we need some cans of soup or something.
Victor takes it out of his pocket, and yeah, he does have an extra clear spindle. Ironstone.
That also say I've got a week's rations that I've stashed away. I bought it before we bought the spindles.
Yes, well, I mean,
so that'll last a bit.
Means livestock.
I just want to be a gardener, all right?
Yeah, man, but then we need to.
Yes, that's the science lab. There's a hydroponics in the science.
All right, fine.
Have you seen the blueprints? It's a beautiful place.
All right.
Can certainly cultivate that for sure.
Levai, take a clear spindle ironstone.
Yeah.
From
Thank you, Victor.
No problem. If you want a can of beer and watch the game, then you can come in here.
Sounds good.
We got a hot tub now.
Oh, very luxurious.
New room. Entertainment pool.
That is, as it goes through here, I'll say, this is the reactor. Yeah.
It would seem that Telos and I would be spending most of our time here.
That's
should
also
something happen.
That's also the engineering. That's also engineering.
Yep. It's got a hint of Thaddeus in this.
Essence of Thaddeus.
Ew.
He occasionally uses the reactor as a microwave.
Yeah. It's been recently upgraded, so that's nice. And over there is the airlock that hopefully we will never have to use. Because hopefully we'll all be up in the bridge and use the forward airlock.
Yes.
If we're all the way back here, something's gone terribly wrong. And let's hope nothing terribly wrong, guys, happens.
As an aside, then, where exactly will I be staying?
I suppose you can take my old room. They cleaned it out when they did the upgrades, so that'll be helpful for you.
Sounds fine to me. Kind of peers in, surveying. It's quite empty. He's like, all right.
Tina's like, I'll meet you in the med bay.
Yes.
Walks in, starts sterilizing hands and stuff. You know, it's time to operate.
Thaddeus, thank you for the tour.
Thaddeus, get the fuck out.
I'm watching here.
No, you're a dirty peasant. Like, you can't be in here.
It would
Yeah,
be
he scrubs
wise.
up. Like, I'm an expert on this.
When did you wash, like most recently?
Just the other day. I will have you know.
Levai will rationalize and say, well, if you want to keep that gun, then I advise you not to mess anything up.
Thaddeus will go and wash his hands. He'll be good. Sterilize his hands and wash all the way up to his elbows like he's meant to. So he could be good. Sure.
Yeah. Bitsa can be working out in the corner of the med bay. It's still the gym to him.
just sweat and body fluids flying everywhere.
That is
My own
terrible.
room was turned into an entire gym.
We need an airlock in the middle of the room to separate.
But yeah,
Where
that's,
is your old room?
I don't know.
I think they gave it to a new guy.
What?
Yeah.
If what?
We'll forever share one.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you wanted to share one, so here you go.
Yeah.
You have a luxurious one for two.
This ship is no longer for us. It's all just nerd stuff.
I mean, you could probably find a corner to grunt in if you want to.
Oh,
You can use the
just sits
cargo.
in bed, he's sad.
Yeah, the cargo bay can probably be.
cargo hold.
No,
Yeah,
the others don't like him anyway. They can
You can
just...
use the cargo hold. It's fine. It's a huge area. Like, you can hold 40 tons of things in there.
yeah, you can carry things
So
around.
about half your ego fits, right?
Yep.
Replace it with a hollow gym.
Well, we could, but then how are we going to transport stuff?
In the science
Oh
bay.
boy, let's
There's lots of room there.
let's operate.
Let's get started. So, what exactly is the procedure here? Sheep.
The procedure will
That is-
be presumably to extract the cybernetics.
Yes.
Just like sterilizing them isn't going to work because
No.
they're still sort of attached to his head. And if he would shrink, well, they wouldn't.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm just looking for the core rulebook whether there's a method to do like a longer skill challenge by default. Because it certainly feels like a longer procedure.
Yeah. It seems like a mix of things, to be honest.
Let's see. I think we'll. It's definitely a mix of skills. Let me look at the
Yes.
skills list. Yes, I know that's what you're asking. I'm just mumbling to fill the time.
That's okay.
Uh,
Challenge.
let's say computers and life science in that order.
Okay. Tasselis is aiding me, correct?
What's your computer skill?
16.
Okay, yeah, I'll be aiding.
Don't you have to roll to 8, though?
I don't think I can fail.
It's a DC 10 to 8.
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
Fail.
okay. Okay, sure. Sorry. All right. Let's give this a roll.
A
31.
A 31. With a 31, you can certainly first of all, like analyze the cybernetics and see how exactly they're connected to this creature.
Yeah.
So it's probably the shorter part of the procedure, but definitely just as important as actually extracting them. If you don't know where to cut, you can't really do anything.
Are these cybernetics custom made, or are they actually a factory make? Like who made them?
They don't look mass produced at all. They seem like the sort of thing that you cobble together in a lab as a prototype.
Okay.
As an
Well,
experiment.
I guess we'll try and as much as possible. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Preserve it enough that we can take a look at it after. It's quite difficult when you're trying to cut things out. So.
Yeah, the only thing that is really mass produced and factory made is the gun it's using.
Yeah. Okay.
You couldn't immediately identify like who's like sold it or who made it. You wouldn't know where to start. Basically, it's not something you can just Google.
No. Is it just a gun attached to his arm? Is that all it is?
It's sort of a mechanical arm that sort of folds out to reveal the gun inside.
Oh, okay. Is that removable, or should we just keep it on him?
It's too integrated to really be of use.
That's fine. Well, that's that check, and then life science then.
Life science, yeah.
What is your life science?
10.
Okay, 14. So let's give it a go.
33.
3.
It is many hours of you being in the med bay.
Yes.
Certainly trying out the equipment for the first time, really.
Yeah.
And it does seem to work as expected.
Although he's a lab tech, so he can probably assimilate quite easily with the equipment. So.
Oh yeah, it's mostly the equipment is like factory fresh.
Yeah.
But it certainly seems to be functioning. And
moving the plastic from the screens and stuff.
Yeah.
The procedure takes a good 6-7 hours.
Okay.
But it is successful in the end.
Oof, he is wrecked afterwards. He is exhausted, I would say.
I imagine we both are.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you sleep? You
No.
probably do, right? No? Well then...
I sort of go into a hibernate state.
Recharge mode? Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta hibernate every now and again. Clear the RAM.
Yep. Exactly. Dump the memory.
Of Thaddeus.
It's true.
Tell me about it.
Thaddeus knows the engineering workings of an android.
Alrighty, well, successful then it seems, which is good.
Brilliant, Doctor!
So...
Yeah, the Keshti, the Rivener, is still very, very wounded.
Yes.
But the cybernetics are certainly gone, and he doesn't seem in any immediate danger of just dying.
Okay.
The sedatives that the other Keshti provided does seem to do his job rather well.
If they have no way to offer medicinal care, I can certainly do that too before he leaves, or if they can handle that themselves, then sure.
I mean,
The question is, do they have a way to get back to Akaton?
Yeah,
Thaddeus will
neither.
ask this one.
Okay, you ask them. They sort of look at each other as they're
What's medicine?
Because he knows he thinks he knows the answer already.
I like Thaddeus is back.
Their leader, Lanan, sort of says, "We didn't really expect to take him back alive."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, understandable, but now what is your plan?
We booked a ferry to go to Epsilon Station. If we sell off some of our equipment, we can perhaps secure a way back.
Okay. Perhaps is a bit far-fetched.
I hope you have a sturdy cage. Looking at the Rivener.
Alright. Say if we took you home, what could you use as payment? I know you said that you'd sell equipment, but obviously equipment's... What can you offer for us?
He thinks for a moment.
Been productive so far.
And says, quite frankly, nothing other than gratitude.
We are on the hunt for some very, very dangerous people that have a lead on us. We can't go traipsing about to Akaton for
No,
just our own pleasure.
Mm.
we would need a good reason. As far as Levai is concerned, he has done above and beyond
Yeah.
for nothing, basically.
Yeah, we
So-
have exerted ourselves and our resources in ways far beyond what these creatures have paid for.
It's up to them to, find their own way back, I guess. It would certainly be wasted effort if they don't secure that, but there's nothing we can do about it.
That is so. Although I understand that we are pressed for time, I don't know, this is going to be hard to believe, but I can't, in good conscience, just leave something like this to just happen and we not even look at.
You're correct. It is hard for you for belief that you're saying it.
Yeah. But come on, man, they're taking a species that they know can transform into kind of gestures, this, and actively did it to then put in cybernetics to turn it into a killing machine.
I mean,
Surely,
shrugs a little bit and says, "It is odd, and it is disturbing implications, but this is not our mission." I can send the information on to the stewards, and maybe they can look into it.
that just gives Talos a flat look.
But hunting down some sort of shadowy operating theater is, in all fairness, not what we are about to do currently. We're going to the diaspora and we're already late.
And what if this is connected? It's a death cult that
Till-
wants things to be killed.
Tilos drums his fingers on the surface of the the bed and says, "Nothing indicates that it is connected."
Based on what we know, there is no link right now. It certainly could be possible, but we have no way to know. Expending ourselves in that way right now is probably not the best course of action.
Go and talk to Madar and Vec. See if they see what they think. I think it's a waste of time currently.
If, Thaddeus, if we are to go, I can certainly administer long-term care to make sure he will be okay, but it is a lot of time and a lot of effort.
It just bugs me. But Darius will like press the ship intercom by the door. That's like, come to the med bay.
He's alive!
Please, everyone, come to the med bay. And Darius will look to Maida and Victor and will say, so we have the Rivener will be fine and will transform back into an Ikeshti if it gets back to Akaton. The Ikeshti did not plan to actually go back with it, so without our generosity, they won't get back with it. I dislike leaving a possible Rivener destruction lab to form without us even giving it a second look. And Telos and Levai seem to think that will take too much time out of our mission to even take this thing to Akaton.
Thaddeus, give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Nope, 2. It's either a 2 or a 20 for my perception checks.
Oh, wonderful.
I'll say, what do you two think?
I'm in the middle. Like, I agree that I'm not necessarily about a giant lizard muscle ring being formed. But it also is like a big detour. Like,
A big detour for no
we
gain.
kind of have the whole universe at stake here.
I mean, potentially. I don't know. Yeah, it's bad, but a lot of bad things happen. I mean, just in the spike by itself, we can't hope to clean all of that up. Best thing you can do really is alert some people who do have more resources and time to the fact that it happens. As for taking this one to Akaton, I mean, I don't know that we have the time for that either. These guys could probably find some money somewhere. You could give them a loan.
In fact, we do know someone who's shipping out with a lot of livestock and can probably have cages for this thing. We could probably do a tour to Akaton if we ask nicely. There is no gain for us, that's my problem. If there was a tangible... something tangible out of it that would help us in hunting the cult, then we might consider it. But right now it's just... I'm sorry to say, my lizardy friends, but it is just to dump off your mess. And we are not garbage people. You take care of your own... whatever this is.
Do we have any contacts that we can call on to help rather than...
We do. We have a contact with like a guy we rescued from a planet, and he's like, I'm getting into shipping livestock.
Okay.
So he would be someone I would point them to.
Sure. I would certainly like to, but without any recompense of any kind, it is...
You know, in a perfect world where we have unlimited time and resources to just help people for the good of our hearts. Sure, but...
Then we'd also go and remove all the gangs and create a democratic society of happiness on this station. There's just so much stuff that needs to be done. We have to put our resources and time somewhere. And this doesn't seem to be like this is the thing that's right in front of us. That doesn't mean it's the one we should go for.
Okay. Then Thaddeus will say to the Akeshti that he'll try and arrange for some ex-Starfinders to transport them, and that he'll flip the bill.
Yeah, Lenan doesn't say much as a response, although he was keenly listening to your discussion, as he just says, you've already done much more than expected. You do not need to do any more.
Well, that's
wonderful.
good.
Be sure
I,
to
for
change...
I'm going to retire for a while, because I am quite tired.
Telos nods, likewise.
He is going to half stagger out to his room because he is about to pass out from that exhaustion.
Telos will pass over a list of times when to change the bandages and how to keep them fresh, and then he'll leave as well.
Yeah.
He's done. The door's over there. Take your huge ass monster and go, please.
They're like, no, we'll leave it here. Without telling you.
Thaddeus either way will still arrange for some better travel. We don't want him waking up in the middle of a ship and killing a whole bunch of innocent people.
Understandable.
So he'll flip the bill. Can't imagine it'll be thousands.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Well, that are good people that we saved, of course.
All right, give me a diplomacy check.
Look how I don't even think
You can convince them to actually take it instead of all their cows.
Like that, they like you enough to take it, but oh boy, like,
Yep.
are you aware of what you're asking here?
That's a
Yes.
big thing.
You want to take a monster that none of their like sheep cages can hold onto a barge that will be full of sheep before getting to Akiton.
Yes, of course.
Oh, he's aware.
So they'll need to like purchase extra equipment and all those things.
Give me a bill, man.
It'll cost you like 500 credits.
Sure.
That's like the friendship price.
This isn't choosing beggars, man. You can't do it for free.
500 credits and probably a comparable favor in the future.
What if they get exposure? You know, like
Hey, now that is certainly begging. Oh, I can't pay, but I'll give you exposure.
yeah, I mean, it looks good if you work for free for me.
Yes, because then multiple people can go ask you for work for free as well. It's great.
He'll give them the 500, but then say very explicitly that this is just a favor for Thaddeus, and any return favor would just be from Thaddeus, though. As the rest of the party was fine with them just going on their own.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure. It's out of your own pocket. That's fine.
Yeah, before Lanan disappears into the Acreon, into the cargo hold, she will hopefully take him home. He does say to Thaddeus as his last words, basically, "You're not what I expected."
Yeah.
And he is gone. And that's that. Sunrise Maiden is ready to go. You've heard what the other branches of the Starfinders are up to.
Yes.
Most of which is sort of oriented towards also fighting the threat, but they all have their different ideas. Ready to head to the diaspora.
Yeah, Levai would definitely like to check out the science and I guess engineering / reactor core areas because he is certainly interested in those. So you'll probably find him there most of the time.
Are we closing up here soon though?
I think this is
Like, if you want
Next
to
one.
continue a little bit, that's fine. But I gotta go. I'm going to.
no. I think we'll stop here.
Right.
I just want to ask a question from you as well, Malachi. Rather than just sort of blindly following the AP, do you like this style of session more? Like just a stupid yes or no?
It's impossible to answer yes or no to this.
Okay.
I don't know what this session.
Because
Like, I don't know what's different.
for the reason, mainly sheep, is that the story revelations last time was the first interesting thing that has happened story-wise, and I want to follow that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
And I think it can be combined. I am not at this point super interested in side quests as much as I am just interested in interesting scenarios and things that happen to that relate to the characters and the backgrounds and allow them to grow as characters. I've said this before. I think an adventure path and with a mission that is very clear and structured can still work for character development. Out of the Abyss is a perfect example of this. where we have a place to go and we have been going there, but we still, there's still
Alright.
interesting character development.
That is noted. So now, yeah, Malachi, now if you want to leave.
My mother purchased 40 kilos worth of wild boar, and if I get there now, I can get some. So
Okay,
Nice.
that does sound urgent.
All right, midnight rush for boar.
Midnight boar run.
Night.
Good
Good
night.
Later.
I did enjoy the session because I didn't quite feel like it was on rails like a lot of the sessions were.
That was definitely the intention.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
knew,
liked-
but I didn't feel like that at all. It felt like I could ask
Yeah,
anything.
the meeting with the other branches of the Starfinders was very much a sort of nudge. If you want to like do something completely different while still sort of following the plot, here's your chance.
Yeah.
That was sort of the intention that I hope I got across.
Yes.
Yes. It was just that
Okay.
most of the other options were things that I felt were difficult for the party to be useful at. It's like building a ship.
But the
they're
option's
not-
still there, so,
Yeah, I appreciate the option. For different parties, it would probably have gone differently, but our party was kind of.
Yeah, different parties definitely would have gone for something else, I reckon.
And I reckon
Definitely
it.
like side quests, but I feel like the main quest, as it were, is very pressing right now, and it's like hard
Yeah.
to get away from.
The whole Kashti thing wasn't really supposed to be like a side quest for additional loot. It was sort of very much aimed at like Thaddeus's character.
Yeah. Character building.
I mean, if we just up and killed it, okay, but we decided to take it in another direction, and that's
Yeah, I like how
that's
it
the
went.
option. Yeah.
I'm happy with the turnout.
But I went from going, oh yeah, we're just gonna kill one of these things, to going, I think we could build a character a bit more here.
Yeah.
And
Definitely
just kinda
showcase.
rolled with that.
Like it was also a good introduction for me because I mean I use a lot of stuff that I know, so
It was good, yeah.
it's good.
Good integration for the character.
All right. Then I will make some food as well because I wanted to go to the shop to get something nice to eat, but as it turns out, it's fucking Easter. So
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
there was no shop. It was just gone completely. And now I'll have to improvise.
The only thing I had was Easter eggs, and I ate those, and I'm now sick from chocolate. So
See,
For another 3
see,
days.
I don't care.
I did my shopping 2 days ago.
I should have, but I wanted to do it like today. I was like, maybe Saturday. But that's
Yeah.
not going to work either, is it?
It's all right.
All right, well, that's the end of the session. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy Easter. We'll be back tomorrow with Out of the Abyss.
Yes.
I won't be there because I will be at an Easter dinner. But you guys
I
have
will
fun.
be, and I will be streaming it.
You know,
so,
Liam is easy. Just walk him up to things and hit them.
It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
DDS is back. DDS is the I'll take care of this character that's not here.
Where even did we stop last time?
man.
After we had talked to some of the representatives, and so you had
Yeah.
tried to
Oh, yeah,
scam the
we were-
Archmage chess.
And we had the
Oh, yeah,
everyone nearly
I
got
failed.
poisoned. Creepy lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
I-
failed the chess, and
I
I
like
didn't,
sold a year of my
And
life.
rewarded. He rewarded like, here, hold my beer.
I lucked out. That's all that happened. I got lucky. That's it. My aim just trash.
Man. Yeah.
Alright.